Okay, I keep forgetting to hit the mute button. All right, welcome everybody. It's a whirlwind weekend. 10 Colorado Buffs balled out this weekend on their respective NFL teams. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Um, it's a lot to say. The guys did good, but there were good comments from coaches. Miss Pilar deserves Super Mom of the Year, being in Charlotte one day and being in, I guess, where Shiloh's game was. I think Tampa the next, wherever they played. Watched her video. I watched her podcast for the first time, her live stream. She was talking about her experience as a mom. But I put together a video of the guys. There are 10 of them. I thought there were 11. There are 10. And everybody had good stat lines. Cameron Simmelcraig, BJ Green. I think, who else was it? Derek McClendon. Derek McClendon got in there. So Derek McClendon got a little highlight reel with Miami. And people were trying to, celebrate everybody all at once. And then we started going into Xavier Weaver made a touchdown. And it just turned out to be way better than expected. We were just expecting to watch a few games. Like we're thinking about the guys from this year. It turns out we end up watching everybody, right? So Derek McClendon is still with Miami. If you don't know, he was the guy that Coach Prime had last year come in on Zoom and talk to the team. And I remember Coach Prime asking Derek, how do they practice? And Derek McClendon said, the way they play. So Coach Prime's motto and what he teaches in a philosophy, the way you practice is the way you play. That's exactly what it is. And maybe hearing that, the guys that are, came out this year, Shiloh, Shedeur, LaJohntay, Jimmy Travis, and Will Sheppard, maybe it stuck with them because they balled out too. I mean, every single person balled out. So if y'all know who Gooch is, I think he's one of the people. A Blessed Buff put together the stats on X, and I saved it. So we can go over the stats if y'all haven't seen them. But I put together a video just so people could see if you are. See, I don't know if everybody's a Buff fan. If everybody's familiar with the Colorado Buffs. Last year, we had the first year, Coach Prime, we had two players go to the league, Derek McClendon and Xavier Weaver. And Xavier Weaver and Jimmy Horn Jr. came from USF together. And y'all know LaJohntay came from FAU. And Travis, Shiloh, Cameron Simmelcraig, Jackson State. Will Sheppard came from Vanderbilt. Everybody balled out. So on your screen, what you see is a video of the guys. It's just going to be in rotation, just with the names, the teams they play for, Coach Prime over to the right. And I wanted to ask y'all a question. The question I had, Coach Prime has only been a college head coach at Colorado for 2 years, Jackson State 2 years. So 4 years total. Right now, if we go back to Jackson State, because these are just the Buffs, these are just NFL Buffs, right? Because we do have some Buffs in Canada. We have Justin Mayers is there. I think a kicker or two is there. We got guys in the XFL or UFL. So this is specific to the NFL. And if we go back to Jackson State, Coach Prime had a player drafted out of Jackson State, one or two. Aubrey Miller was one. I think they said he's in Canada now, and it was another guy. I feel like Isaiah. And then I think when Coach Prime left, the guy maybe had transferred to FAMU. But in terms of Colorado, in 2 years, 10 players in the NFL in 2 years, not just 10 bodies, 10 players who all balled out preseason week 1. Every last one of them got a highlight. Every last one of them. Will Sheppard in Green Bay. Xavier Weaver, he had 2 receptions, but one of them was a touchdown. BJ Green had a sack. Derek McClendon had a sack. Y'all saw Shiloh. Y'all saw Shiloh ball out. Also, QB blitz. I mean, this crazy, right? 2 years? 2 years. 10 players in 2 years. Understand that that does not happen every day. Understand that that's not, and they not just in there and they just somewhere in there. They're the faces of their teams. They made highlight reels this weekend. So my question to you all, I thought about this earlier. What does it say to you that Coach Prime has 10 players balling out on the first football weekend for the NFL preseason week 1? What does it say to you? Let me know in the comments. What does it say to you? That's the question that I pose to everybody that's listening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 65, 85 of us. Hit the like button for me. But the question is, what does it say to you that a 2-year coach in a Power 5 has 10 players in the NFL? That's one. That's one. 10. And 2 that they balled out. If I go to X, I think I have bookmarked just about everybody's content that had a highlight reel. Shiloh, of course, Shedeur, of course, Travis, Zay Weaver, McClendon, BJ Green, LaJohntay, of course, Will Shepherd, Jimmy Horn Jr. All made a highlight reel. So the question is, what does it say to you that in 2 years, the 10 players that Coach Prime developed and have been signed by the NFL, regardless of how it went down, draft, unsigned, it don't matter. It don't matter at this point. You had to go out there and ball out. And that's what they did. That's the part that's the fascinating part. Because people are going to be like, well, you know, Georgia had 13 players. Okay, first of all, that's Georgia. And how long has Kirby Smart been there? We're talking about Coach Prime, number one. CU, knowing their history, their legacy, in the last few years of not being relevant. Not just bringing these people back to relevancy, but their players, 10 players, making it to the league and balling out. So here's what it says to me. Coach Prime need to start his own league. That's what it say to me. That's what it say to me. And I'm not saying he want to do it, but you know what's going on, right? I feel like that's what it says to me. Honestly, that's what it says to me. That's what it says to me. Because, you know, we all, half of us, 90% of us, 98% of us, hell, 100%, a lot of people, 98, 99.5% believe that Cleveland don't even deserve Shedeur. For those of us that know, right? For those of us that know that all of these teams are in on it, hell, the whole NFL don't deserve him. For a minute, we were thinking he's going to end up in Canada. Every time they try to get rid of him, they can't. He went out here and balled out. Yeah, people tried to slide in things, right? But then everybody showed up and balled out too. Everybody. So that speaks more to Coach Prime and his ability to develop players. Hell, if he'd had 11, because I thought we had 11. I think Justin Mayers I thought was in Denver, but he just signed with Canada. And I'm happy for him. Congratulations. We're going to have to try to focus on those guys too. That's what it says to me. It says Coach Prime needs to start his own league. Players, you know, the league want to devalue your players. League want to devalue quarterbacks coming out from CU. It don't matter what his last name is, because you're going to see what happens. That's what it says to me. It says Coach Prime need to get with The Rock, but I think maybe The Rock's league is looked at as a G League for the NFL. I don't like that, but that's maybe the partnership that was created. So to me, he just needs to start his own league. And maybe, you know, this situation with Shedeur get worse. If they implement their plan, it's going to get worse. Are you really going to want to send the players that you work hard to develop, that you know a baller out? You really want to send them to a league that devalues them because there are other coaches that they in cahoots with that don't want you to succeed? I mean, if the players want to go, what you gonna do? But that's what it says to me. It says he not only has the blueprint for the business side of football, right? He has the blueprint for the competitive league side. He's already done it. If you look at his life story, if you look at the leagues he had, whether it was associated with a school, independent, we had players. BJ Green played for Coach Prime. I believe truth. So did Kaden Salter. BJ Green got the opportunity. Jacksonville, Cameron Silver-Craig, and Travis Hunter, all three of them on the same team. At first, there were two buffs in Tampa, but now, hey, that's okay. Shiloh holding it down in Tampa while Will Sheppard is balling out. There was a list put together by 9 Colorado people, by 9 NFL people. It was just some fans in Tampa. I mean, fans in Green Bay. A fan in Green Bay on X put in the top producers, the standouts of the game. Guess whose name was on the list for the Packers? Will Sheppard. I saw another post that said, look like Will Sheppard going to make the 53-man roster. BJ Green and McClendon got to the QB, the sacks, just like Shiloh. Shiloh's coach had good things to say about him. Very, very good things. Xavier Weaver's coach had great things to say about his play performance. Hell, the Carolina Panthers coach, Canales? No, is that Canales or somebody? Whoever the Carolina Panthers head coach is, had great things to say about Shedeur. I mean, great feedback. Something you should have heard from Stefanski. In case you missed it, Kevin Stefanski should be fired. Canales went into detail about Shedeur's game, the things that he did. He didn't just say, oh, he played a great game. He didn't have to say anything. I don't even know why they asked him about Shedeur. Because I don't know if they asked Stefanski about Bryce Young. Maybe they did. But Ty Bowles had complimentary things for Shiloh. Arizona's coach, complimentary things for Zay Weaver. I'm sure people said nice things about Travis. BJ Green noticed. Hopefully McClendon noticed. Just Stefanski. Nothing positive about Shedeur. Nothing about Shedeur. He deflected. He was asked about Shedeur and said, well, all of our guys played out. They were even complimentary of Jackson Dart, the coach there. Everybody's head coach has something specific to say about the people that did a really good job, except for Stefanski. And that takes me back to exactly what it says to me, that Coach Prime, when you look at his life history, has had leagues. The players in the NFL, you got BJ Green played for him. Kaden Salter played for him. Y'all know Kaden is a dog. Y'all know Shedeur. Y'all know Shiloh. They both balled out. Shiloh was stunting like his daddy. I said it. If the NFL hires Shiloh to do QB blitzes alone, they will get their money's worth. That's spot on. Shedeur, they said Shedeur is the most talked about quarterback in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I had to look at that again. I'm like, well, they do play Philly. I said, wait. Did he say Pittsburgh? Oh, Aaron Rodgers. People expect Shedeur to be the franchise QB. We just ain't sure if it's going to be Cleveland. It should be Cleveland. But people need to understand Kevin Stefanski is not acting independently. Kevin Stefanski is getting an attaboy from the owner about the way Shedeur is being mistreated. We talked about it. So what it says to me is that Coach Prime needs to start his own league. He's touched every aspect of the game. He knows the NFL. He played inside and out. He knows. He was an anchor. He knows the analytics side. He understands the marketing side. He brought that to the NFL, right? And people are saying, the NFL is using Coach Prime's blueprint, because they seem obsessed, with Shedeur, or they seem obsessed with Shiloh, or obsessed with Travis, or this, that, and the other. And it's funny how even the Cleveland Browns are continuously posting about Shedeur, and people are tearing them up in the comments. Like, how dare you? Like, really? Y'all don't even like him. Y'all don't like him like that. Even Shedeur said in his press conference, the energy around him with the Browns changed during the game. He said he wasn't nervous. Shiloh said he went out early so he doesn't get nervous. These guys talking to each other. They talking to each other. So that's what it says to me. It says, Coach Prime, you can do this. They don't want to stop playing. They want to devalue your players. They want to tear down the quarterback that you produced. Start your own league. Because you're going to need somewhere for your players to go if they keep playing this game. I'm just saying. That's what it says to me. I look at, I think since I've been on X, I can see how people associated with the NFL, and I'm not talking about the media, I'm talking about former players, have enabled the NFL with the foolishness, right? Louis Riddick posting about Tyler Shaw, trying to make people feel better because Tyler Shaw threw a pick, right? And then Kellen Moore basically made him rerun the play, and then it turned out to be good, this, that, and the other. And fans were underneath Louis Riddick's page saying, we don't care about that. It just proves he got to go deep in his playbook, pull out all his plays in the preseason for everybody to see, for Tyler to get it. He's not to be good now. Kellen Moore has invested in making sure I got to get Tyler to look right, because I passed on Shedeur. You damn sure did. And he could come out and say it's not him, but you damn sure did. And maybe they didn't want to get Shedeur because, next year is somebody that's at LSU that somebody want to bring to the Saints. I unfollowed the Saints today. I had to do it. I had to do it. They spend all their time with somebody who's proven I can't make a year one impact. So I heard Spencer Rattler's name into the conversation because it looked like he might be the guy. I just see people like Louis Riddick enabling the situation in New Orleans instead of calling it out for what it is. I mean, you called out the Browns. Why you just don't call out the Saints? I don't see the difference. So Saints fans got to handle. They tearing them up in the comments. I'm like, the league has truly made a mess of this. This is a mess. It's a big mess. It's a really big mess. Why? The media did a hit job on Shedeur. Somebody was trying to blame Coach Prime, and I said, excuse me? And they were like, Coach Prime is a kingmaker. I'm not going to say he's a victim. I'm like, I was talking about Shedeur. How you get the Coach Prime? Well, it's Coach Prime's fault. Shedeur should have had an agent. I'm like, why exactly? Why? An agent for what? To help smooth over the defamation? Bucky posted today, we need to start getting back at these people, putting out these false stories about Shedeur. I said, yeah, y'all need to start sending out these cease and desist letters. You're going to have to do it. I'm of the opinion the reason why they still doing it is because nobody clapped back yet. And I get it. It might be delicate and we want to get to a point and God going to take you to his. But you're going to have to do some things too. I don't see any harm with clapping back at TMZ, who lied and said Shedeur was with his entourage. People like, that is a 7-year NFL veteran named Tony Brown. And people wanted to go viral with the story. But what happened? The fans. So the fans are they not playing. The media is moving the goalposts, and the fans keep putting it back. The fans keep putting it back. That's one thing. Then you have all of the buffs going out on one weekend. The first weekend, when everybody was going to be watching, because we all was going to be watching Shedeur. Whether they knew the other guys or not, knew anything about Colorado, everybody was watching Shedeur. On that weekend that everybody's drawn to the preseason game, every last single buff got an opportunity and turn up. That's called redemption. It shows Coach Prime is a good coach. Y'all just don't like him. A good quarterback. Y'all just don't like him. We can get into the why later, but it ain't hard. Bubba Dub called it out. He said, why is it when it's a black QB, it's always got to be a test? They got to be tested first. I agree. And knowing all of that, how difficult they make it, how they scapegoat Coach Prime, how they did a hit job on Shedeur, they wrote Shiloh off. They wrote Shiloh off in college. Coach Prime going to Dallas with Shedeur. I'm like, he got a son named Shiloh. I'm pretty sure he want both of his sons to live out their dream. Shiloh, it was said that if you were at the game, different people posted on Instagram and X. They said if you were at the game, that big jumbotron was showing mad love to Shedeur while we were on a plethora, to Shiloh while we were on a plethora of commercial breaks. So Tampa showing love to Shiloh. I don't know if y'all were actually watching the game, but for those of us, we were watching it together that were looking at the TV, you could see Todd Bowles and his defensive coordinator with their hands folded, looking at each other like, we got one. We got us a squad. Great things about Shedeur. They wrote Shiloh off. That's how you know this ain't about Coach Prime. You just totally dismiss Shiloh and then you talk about him because you want to get at Shedeur. Because he's already changed the culture of the NFL. How? First of all, he bringing new fans to the NFL to watch him. Secondly, he bringing people who wrote the NFL off back to the game. Coming in the tunnel, he and Tony being themselves. There was another guy behind him. I don't know who that was. Being themselves. Not being forced and choose to assimilate. Because that's what they want them to do. They want them to submit and assimilate. Submit and assimilate. That's why a lot of those guys are not married to women that look like them. They drink the Kool-Aid. It's so hard when you choose to be yourself. I didn't hear him say nothing about Tony because they didn't even know it was him. How do you go on a warpath to criticize somebody and you don't even know who in the photo? Stereotypes. Stereotypes. So fans are handling the situation, but I totally agree with Bucky. They need to start clapping back. Start with the media. Start with the media. If you don't put them on notice with these cease and desist, they're going to keep on. They're going to keep on. You don't have to send nobody in the NFL, nothing. But you can send every media person, starting with TMZ, for that false, erroneous story. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, not knowing what a damn football player looks like. They want to talk about his walking stick. They say he goes everywhere with that walking stick. You think they would have used Google images or facial recognition or something to try to figure it out? But no, they just saw a black guy and went on the warpath. That should tell you that's what the hell is wrong with this entire situation. The NFL too. When Shedeur Sanders said he want to change the culture, they heard something totally different. People can't get over his first touchdown. Shedeur Sanders was the only NFL QB in preseason, not just made touchdowns, NFL throws. NFL throws. I checked. His rating was like up there with like the Pat Mahomes's. When I saw Pat Mahomes, I clicked off and kept it going. That's all I need to see because that's where he headed. They don't want Shedeur to be the greatness of Pat Mahomes, even though they play the same. I think it was even the Panthers coach complimented Shedeur for extending plays. But I ain't hear nobody call out Kevin Stefanski with his 44 and 40 subpar, his 40 and 44 sub. He sent Shedeur out there in the first quarter with 8 minutes and 12 seconds on the clock, 4th and 1 to pass the damn ball when all the running back had to do was lean forward. And then suddenly your old lineman can't remember what the hell it is they're supposed to do. And he talking about Shedeur going to get a lot of reps in Philly, like he got to reserve the reps for the starters. So he has bought into holding Shedeur back. He needs to be fired immediately. I posted early today on other platforms that the Browns need to be investigated for organizational malpractice, what they have done to Shedeur. Yes, I said let Miss Pilar do it. Let Miss Pilar send some lawyers to all of these people. Because, see, that's what it should have happened to the New York Giants. But, see, I know why they didn't do it. I know why they didn't do it. Because retaliation. Retaliation. So I know why they didn't do it. But the media, yeah, maybe they got to be strategic about it. But I feel like that's one avenue you could go. I mean, they're going to talk about you anyway. My motto, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. And then there's LeJounte. I posted about LeJounte. They have him in the newspaper. They have, he took a picture of his locker. I mean, he's a bona fide star down there. He's a star. He made a name for himself. And you can't put that genie back in a bottle. He definitely making a team. He was second string behind a veteran. I said, played for the Texans. DeAndre Hopkins also played in Kansas City and Arizona. So we gonna see LeJounte out there. We gonna see LeJounte out there. But on the same weekend, the first weekend, all of the buffs that are in the NFL, all of them got an opportunity in making the sun, the moon, and the stars come together. That's what that's like. That's exactly what that's like. So let me see what y'all are saying about it. Because I asked the question, if you're just not joining us, hit the like button. It's 111 of us. Hit the like button for me. The question I asked, if you're just not joining us, feel free to comment. What does it say to you that all 10 of Coach Prime's players from year 1 and 2 at CU that are signed to the league got an opportunity, and every last one of them balled out and got some FaceTime with the camera? Edge rushers got sacks. Shiloh a safety, a sack. Blitzing the QB. Weaver, Shiloh, great things from the coach. Panthers coach had great things to say about Shedeur. McClendon from year 1 balled out. Zay Weaver, touchdown. BJ Green ain't playing. Derek McClendon not either. And now it's 10 of them. And y'all, we already looked at the class that the Shrine Bowl gave a nod to. How many did we count? 10. Coach Prime said whenever a scout show up to see you, the first person they want to talk about 11. Kaden Salter, top 15, really probably top 5. That's 12. I think Omarion say he coming out. That's 13. Preston Hodge, highly ranked corner near the top in college football. That's 14. Alejandro Mata, that's 15. And that's 5 more people. By this time next year, first preseason game, 15. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's either an entire offensive line or an entire defensive line. Recruiting got to be going crazy right now. Recruiting got to be going crazy. I expect recruiting to be going insane for CU. And at this point, everybody can't come. Everybody can't come. Everybody's welcome. But we only got so much room. Everybody can't come. It is a privilege to play at CU now. It is a privilege because we only have so much space. If you make the roster at CU and you listen to Coach Prime, you're going to get there. One way or the other, but you're going to get there. Amazing. Feels like vindication. It does. It feels like vindication. I think it proves that they just hating on Coach Prime. I think it proves what I said because I don't think they hate him because he was just up there on the stage with Bill Belichick. It proves what I said. Coach Prime was a scapegoat so they could get to Shedeur because they wrote Shiloh off. They love Travis. People was trying to tear Travis down, right? But, again, fans overrode it. Here's what's happening, right? The haters are moving the goalposts. We're used to that. But here's what people are not used to. Fans like us are moving the goalposts back where they belong. In the little conversation I was having today, I pointed out some things, and the person said, you know what? Let's not do this. I said, no. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then I got real with it. I don't have to use profanity. I just told the truth because they wanted to say this was about Coach Prime. So, I shared the theory of 1732. And for some reason, I feel like God, spiked it, threw it up so I could spike it. They say, yeah, well, you should listen to Colin Cowherd because he talks about why the NFL Network was sold to ESPN. I said, what? Door just open, foot in, I proceed. I said, the NFL Network was conveniently sold to ESPN after a $100 million lawsuit came through and Discovery was requested. Why is this important? Because the NFL Network did a hit job on Shedeur Sanders. And the person was like, yeah, but if you know anything about negotiations, that deal was in work for a long time. I said, let me give you a few reasons why deals that stall suddenly move forward with a sense of urgency. Number one, lawsuits. That was my opportunity. Like all the Buffs got their opportunity. That was my opportunity to put the goalpost right back where it belonged. And then I sent the gift. If you know anything about the movie, Why Did I Get Married? There was a character when they were all sitting around the table named Michael, I think, or Mike, was sitting around the table and he unloaded everything that people were keeping secret and not talking about. I used that image. I used that gift. That was my opportunity to talk about things the media not going to talk about. So the fans are doing what needs to be done. Shedeur Sanders is a movement by himself, balling out. It shows that Coach Prime is a damn good coach. It shows the NFL devalued their players. Now, get this right. In year one, surprisingly, we even got players to the NFL. There were 4. We went 4-8. We had 4 players went undrafted free agent. I don't know what happened to 2. 2 remain. Both balled out. This is their year 2. Then the class from this year, you know who's in that class. They got the opportunity this year, and they already balled out. Coach Prime is a damn good coach. But what it says to me, NFL, keep playing around. Start your own league, sir. If anybody could do it, you could do it. So I'm checking what y'all are saying now. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? It said Coach Prime is a proud papa after 2 years bring CU up from the ashes. That's facts. From the ashes. Woo, and it's not like he inherited a good team, right? Some of these coaches, the work was done for them. They just got to recruit players and teach them the playbook and whatever. But the legacy is there, bringing the fans in. CU is so out for a 3rd year in a row as much of a disaster and disgusting as the draft was. People are praising Mel Kiper Jr., giving him his flowers because he was the one calling it out on draft night how disgusting the draft was. Now, y'all heard me say what multiple times? An NFL insider told Mel Kiper Jr. what? That the NFL didn't want quarterbacks, plural, like Shedeur Sanders. And that's when Mel Kiper Jr. at the time, around February 20th, on or before, said what? Oh, you don't want the running around guy. Oh, okay. Oh, you want the running around guy. You want what's the dual threat? You want Jalen Milroe, basically. Shedeur looked like a running around guy to me. Somebody said it. That's a lot of running. That was a lot of running. I don't know why people kept saying he wasn't mobile, but yes, I do. Yes, I do. They were trying to pigeonhole him to an outdated QB style. But what the hell is Flacco? What the hell is Pickett? They worried about Shedeur Sanders, QB style. How tall is Dylan? He's a proud papa after 2 years, bringing CU up out the ashes. That's right, Juanetta. That's right. Gracie said Coach Prime can develop and run a program that elevates his players to the next level. Right. So imagine if he can do all of that for a university, what the hell he can do running a league. Just imagine. Just imagine. It can happen. The NFL keep playing. They're going to have some competition because I'm going to tell you, if we get to 15 next year and it's a hard fight like it was this year, they devaluing our players. See, what our players balling out, it says the NFL devalued our players. That's what it says. That's what it says. It says, salute. How you doing? See you pros have a weekend. Yep. Too many problems with the NFL. I agree, Tina. Punter is in the CFL. Okay, so we have, I know 2 players, Justin Mayers and the punter. Is that Jace Feely? Let me know what the punter's name is so I can get the right person. Or is it Mate? Because I think they said Mate 3. Kicker, punter, and offensive lineman. Okay, all right. It said Mata that followed him from Jackson State to Colorado is now in the CFL. No, Mata is at CU. Marlon Mata is still at CU. Hey, fam. Hey, Jackie. Thanks for checking in. We appreciate you. If Dylan is their guy, let him play and stop faking injuries. Trade Shedeur. Right. And get this, right? I think I didn't listen to Stefanski, but people dissected his press conference. So I read enough of what people said was said, quoted, etc. Something about Shedeur supposed to get a lot of reps in a Philly game. I'm like, oh, you're going to put Dylan out there. In other words, he got to see who's injured to know Shedeur going to get first team reps. When they stop the foolishness, best believe somebody started bearing down on them. See, this is the owner and this is Kevin Stefanski. And it could be Andrew Berry as well. But you see, he ran over there by Shedeur. He needs to protect Shedeur because you brought him in there. So you're going to be just as guilty of negligence, just like Haslam and just like Stefanski. That's why I said the organization, this is organizational malpractice. Kevin Stefanski has created a toxic environment. My question is, how long before he lose the locker room? Because you see Joe Flacco grinning like a proud uncle. You saw Andrew Berry over there, and everybody else saw Andrew Berry looking like at the barbecue. I'm so proud of you, Neff. Come home from college and doing well. You saw Njoku. You know Myles Garrett. And there are other players. There are other players. The locker room. That's the second question why I'll go over the first one. It said, yep, the punter. It said, these reporters ask everybody about Shedeur. That's insane. The punter is mate. It says, Stefanski praised Schlesinger when it came to Shedeur and Huntley. It was our QB's general and Shedeur to learn. So they're going to play in Huntley phase 2. Yep. Don't happen. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what Skip Bayless said. He said it. He said, I'm surprised Jerry Jones didn't get Shedeur yet. He said he could have got him in the 4th round. He could have. See, it's a lie. It's 31, 30, 30, 32 teams passed on Shedeur 5 times. All of those teams have a vested interest in Shedeur failing, especially the teams that needed a quarterback. 13 quarterbacks got drafted. Guess what I heard today? Quinn Ewers going to start next week against the Bears. Guess what I also heard today? Jackson Dart had a great game. He likely going to start. Some people say by game 4, by game 6, by game 7. What I told you was going to happen. I told you they was going to do that. Now, mind you, they only gave him basic packages. He was now he did his little run thing. You know, he looked slow, but that was against your team, buddy. What the hell are you going to do when you play a real team? So they want to prop Dart up. Oh, my God, he did so well. They gave him basic packages. Let me see you do what Shedeur did. Shedeur is sitting on the top of the mountain right now. He's making a likely makes. He's in their category already. He's in their category already. And Shedeur, you know, once again, like he waved off the Heisman because they were trying to do what? They were trying to basically tear him and Travis apart. He waved it off. He like, I'm not worried about first team reps. Why should he be? Why should he be? Let's be real. He only gonna look better because he made Luke Floria and Gage and number 89 captain look like first teamers. None of those guys look like 3rd and 4th stringers. None of them. He made them look good. So I don't need first team reps. But should they withhold them? Hell no. Shedeur has the right mindset. I saw a video. It said Shedeur was somewhere in church. I didn't know if that was from the day, so I didn't share it or not. But it's out there. If you've seen it, it's on X. I see it. But I saw the pastor. I saw Shedeur, and it looked like he was at church. So that could be old. It could be new. If it don't matter if it is or if it didn't. He has the right mindset. Shedeur has the right mindset. I'm not worried about first team reps. I don't worry about if I'm gonna get an opportunity because I can't control it. So what am I thinking about that for? He riding high right now. He riding high. He got the world that's paying attention behind him. Seriously. Anytime you have NBA people talking about what's going on with Shedeur, that Stefanski and the Browns trying to embarrass him and did with that little play at 8 minutes and 12 seconds with 4th and 1. That was meant to embarrass. They even took him out the game before the 50 snaps. He was supposed to have 50 snaps. He did not. But he did enough. Now let Dylan get out there and play. It's going to be a problem. You know, I know people probably still going to stay on them about the reps because it's actually discriminatory. There's no justifiable reason how you running a competition and you withholding first team reps for one of your QBs. You can't say he's a 5th round QB or a 5th round pick and then make him compete for the job. No, you set him up to fail. Organizational malpractice, negligence, discrimination. You created a toxic environment. You're going to lose the locker room. You're going to lose the locker room. You will lose the locker room. Maybe a lot of those guys not going to say anything, but you're going to lose the guys you need. It's been proven that all of these pundits, and I don't think they watch the game. I've been on their heads every time they said, I don't know. I didn't know he was that fast. When people say that sort of kind of thing, it irks me. And let me tell you why. It shows that, one, they're lying, or two, you really didn't do any scouting. And all of this combine pre-draft process, just throw it in the trash. Just throw it in the trash and pick who you want. Just throw it in the trash and pick who you want. Because that's what you're doing. You have these guys out here running a 40 for what? If you're going to take somebody slower than them, who's not that good, because that's what you want, then why they got to come out here with this dog and pony show? Just take the pre-draft process and throw it in the damn trash. That's the NFL has created a mess. If you see the bigger picture, the fans are divided. The fans are divided damn near down racial lines. We have now identified some of the Browns fans with the agendas. Now we know why they want to wait and see what happens, even though Shedeur already was the best. Now we know why they want Flacco to start, because they have agendas too. Just like Tony Grossi. Shedeur got nothing but praise for the way he handled the situation with Tony Grossi. I'm nice to see we move past that. The world is watching. So the NFL has created a hot mess because the guys that you want to prop up, you're only propping them up. You're going to put them out there and they're going to fail. I told y'all, they probably somewhere have Jackson Dart behind the scenes trying to get it together. Just like you see how they got Dylan, all those reps and he got worse. They're like, oh, Jackson Dart looks good. They didn't want to say he looks better. They said that in print, but verbally, oh, he looks good. Like he didn't struggle. They conveniently left out his incomplete passes. But you saw Shedeur get sacked. You saw Shedeur incomplete pass. But what Shedeur did in the game was so powerful. It let everybody see, not only that he should have been the first pick in the draft, it let everybody see he was the most NFL-ready QB that came out. People are trying to say, oh, no, it's a quarterback for Pittsburgh that was good too. And somebody said, yeah, but he didn't make no NFL-level throws. Those were basic packages. Jackson Dart too. See, they want to sell the lie. Put him out there in. They're going to do to Jackson Dart in New York what they just did to Dylan in Cleveland. Oh, I can't let Shedeur get in front. So Dylan, just get out there. I'm going to throw you all the reps. And he looked horrible. Now they're protecting him. Talking about we got to protect him. I'm like, sound like some lawyers then rolled up on you. Because you taking his draft stock. Who going to want him now? For one, he was already too short. And two, yeah, this ain't going to work. Yeah, them numbers, no. 3-14, no, I'm good, thank you. They were hurting his draft stock. They're going to do the same thing. Because they want to get Russell out the way, like I told you, 17-32. So they're going to put Dart out there against a real team, not his teammates. A real team. Just like Tyler Shaw got picked off today and embarrassed today because he was playing a real team with some rookies that's trying to make the squad. They're not going to take it easy on you. You see they letting Quinn Ewers start for Miami next week, and he was drafted dead last. And there was no issue at all. No, you don't hear the media talking about, you don't hear nothing about a competition either. Right? But with Shedeur, everything got to be 10 times as difficult. So I had two questions. The first one, we're going through what people are responding to. The question was, what does it say to you that Coach Prime has 10 players in the NFL, all had opportunities this weekend, all balled out? 10 NFL players balling out, getting highlights. The second question, if you want to answer it, is how long before Kevin Stefanski lose the locker room? Pick a week. It's about 17 or 18 of them. Pick a week. It could be about a week, but just pick one. You want to look at the schedule? You just want to guess? Feel free. But that's the second question. How long before Kevin Stefanski loses the locker room? I saw a video where Stefanski doesn't know how to give respect credit to Shedeur every time he sets the bar higher. Shedeur always clears it. Give him the throne. Facts. Facts, Marlon. It said you're correct, Peter. He thought you were talking about Mata. Oh, okay. Hey, Charlie X, welcome back. Wild Dog Media. It said my notification is slow. Uh-oh, it's okay. It took me a minute to get set up anyway. So we're glad to have you, Wild Dog. Thank you. I hit the like button on the way in. Thank you. Take a minute, look at the like button. Take a minute, look at the like button. If you're just not joining us, the second question is, how long before Kevin Stefanski loses the locker room? We're talking about the 10 Colorado Buffs and Coach Prime's 2 years at CU, who made it to the NFL, all had an opportunity today and all balled out. They are not just bodies on the team. They are ballers. Coach Prime has 10 ballers in the NFL, and I think we have discerned that there are 2 or 3 in Canada. And I know that there's one, I think either in the XFL or UFL. I'm not sure what it's called. Hey, Isaiah, it says Stefanski and Mary Kay flat out need to be fired effective immediately. Yep. You saw Mary Kay try to get over there to Shedeur, calling him legendary. I was like, what? She was just like Andrew Berry. I'm like, isn't this interesting? Let's see if they protect him. Because he gonna need protection because Stefanski the one that's willing to do the dirty work. So they're gonna start fighting. Thank you, Tina. Okay, I have a lot of static. Okay. Okay. Let me know if it goes away. Maybe I'm talking too close to the mic. Thank you so much. All the other 31 teams need to hire the equipment managers because they did more for Shedeur than Stefanski. Right. Stefanski has not developed Shedeur. Shedeur has self-developed. They treat him like he's Cinderella. Think about the story of Cinderella. We don't want you. We don't value you. And that's the one that turns out to be the prize. Let me know if the static cleared up. Let's see if I have to see it because I can't hear what y'all hear. Like, I just bought this microphone. It said constant coaches prime partner is the one with the huge Rolodex. Yes. She got clout. When I don't know if y'all knew, but when Evolution of a Black Quarterback came out, they had a premiere. And I think Michael Vick was there. She was there. They were just talking about the movie. And she had to take a conference call. This was at the same time Travis was being neglected from the Heisman conversation. They like him, right? Right. So they were trying to neglect Travis from the Heisman conversation. And I would say maybe a couple of hours later, the train started rolling for Travis with the Heisman. Bucky thanked her because she's the one that got his clearance to film. So let's see if he gets it in Philly. And then they'll be in Cleveland for the Rams. Let's see if he gets it there. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. If you hear me, let me know if the static cleared up because I can't hear it. Oh, let's see if I can. Let's see if I can turn it up. It's a commercial. I gotta wait till it go off. It Mary Kay still throwing Shador under the bus. Let me check this mic over here. Oh, since the game, she's thrown him under the bus. All I saw was her first post, calling him legendary. Let's see. I'm gonna change to my headset. I don't hear any static. Do y'all still hear static? It seems okay. If you still hear, you got to let me know because I might be a little further up in the comments than y'all are to know if it's corrected itself. But this is a brand new microphone, so hopefully. So Mary Kay still throwing Shador under the bus like he's incompetent. This is since the game. Coach Prime needs to stand our business. Prayer without works means nothing. Can't allow these people to continue to disrespect you and your family. I think what I see is they gonna have to do something. They gonna have to do something. I don't think it's not standing on business. I think what it is he's being strategic. Let me think about how to say this. There's a lot for other people to lose. I'm gonna just say it. And his children are grown. Maybe they didn't want it, right? Shador's 23. Shiloh's what, 24, 25, somewhere in there? Coach Prime knows the NFL is retaliatory. I see that. So again, because I feel like Miss Pilar would have did it, to be honest. I think Miss Pilar would have did it. I don't think they want it. I think they feel like the kids they gonna handle it the way they want to handle it. I do think he does have a program to consider because there's a lot of people that could lose. So if Shiloh and Shador don't want to fight it, he can't fight it. But I will say this. You don't have to say nothing to the NFL, but the media, we're gonna need to get on that. And that's not for Coach Prime to do. That's for Shiloh and Shador to decide, yes, we want this. We want you to do this. But everybody talking about Shiloh. So it means it's just Shador. So to be honest with you, it's not complicated, but they do have to move strategically if Shador want him to say anything. That's a big if. He might not. He might not. He told him don't come because, he said, I'm not where I want to be. Shador wasn't saying what I really felt like he meant. And, again, he got to be strategic in the way he answers these questions. He not where he want to be. I'm only getting 4 reps. That's not his fault, right? So in other words, I'm not getting a lot of reps, Dad. And I think that's what was said initially. So he just put it on himself. It ain't him. He's like, don't come. And remember that day that they thought he was going to be there, he and Dylan got the same reps. I don't even know if that's happened again. Maybe it has. I think when I looked, it had not, but maybe it has after that. NFL pipeline, definitely. Love it. Elite players and will only get better, right? So Wild Dog says he feels like CU is an NFL pipeline. Do you still feel like that after the draft? Do you still feel like that after the draft, Wild Dog, that it's still an NFL pipeline? I know it can be. I'm not sure I'd believe anything a scout say, but guys still working on me. Anita said Mary Cabot is at it again. Called Shador's entrance a circle. Called him oh my God. Jeez. Wow. In print? I'm gonna need the link to that. Oh my God. Okay. It said QB rating is 106.8. Okay, I thought it was 106. Okay, 106.8. It said, "Why does anyone listen to?" Yeah, I feel like she's speaking for the Browns. This is from an article she wrote at 6 a.m. Ooh, they really don't know who he is. Yeah. You know what it is? I'm just gonna be honest. They don't care who he is. They should know who he is. They don't care who he is. They're treating him like he's a walking stereotype. That's what they're doing. They're basically saying he's too black. They're not talking about the amount of melanin he has in his skin. They're talking about he's a black man that he wants to be black. He don't want to shed his skin. He don't. If he dates black women, he want to date black women in peace. Why you think they don't like Jalen Hurts? Why you think they don't like Jalen Hurts? And it's a double-edged sword because I do think Jalen Milroe's girlfriend is white. They ain't like him either. So at the starting jobs. That's why they propping up Dart. They don't care who Shedeur is. That's why they don't know him. They don't care. They see him. Somebody pointed out that a lot of the skill player positions are white for Cleveland. And somebody put a question mark like they didn't understand what that meant. I knew exactly what they were talking about. I noticed that myself. I noticed who they drafted in the draft high. I mean, they basically telling you, I don't give a damn how good you are. I don't want a black quarterback. They feel comfortable with it. They don't want to come out and say it out loud, but they're using stereotypes against you. So what does that mean? If Milroe's girlfriend is white and they still holding him back, act like they don't see him, it's because he's a black quarterback. I don't give a damn who you date. But since you're a quarterback, if I can't get you like Pat Mahomes or Dak Prescott, then, hell, they call Dak developmental after 9 years. That's an insult. Jerry Jones, like, yeah, well, we're committed as our franchise QB, but yeah, no, we better off without you. Just straight trash. That described the situation we should do in the draft as a machine. Not a coincidence. Dak and Pat Holmes. Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence at all. So again, I don't see this changing. I don't see it changing. I don't see it changing sincerely. I really don't. All 32 teams are in on it. That's why I said Jerry Jones is the only team he could go to. That's why I said that. The Panthers like him. Andy Dalton is not good. They don't want Shedeur to get to QB1. They make him QB2 behind Bryce Young. They ain't going to do it. You would think they would do it, though. Aaron Rodgers knew, if y'all draft Shedeur, don't come get me. He ain't stupid. He going to make me look bad. I mean, they got black quarterbacks all paired up over there together anyway. So why not do it? They seem to like him. After the first game, you heard of the trade conversations? That's why Coach Prime needs to start his own league. Get on it. He might be. With the business partner he has and the resources he has, he might be. Because I told y'all, I felt like I heard them say what? I felt like I heard them say, get to the next level. And I said last week, are they not saying NFL? Am I mistaken? Coach Prime is smart. And they don't never tip their hand. I could see it. Thank you, BJ. My mic is breaking up. Maybe it's because I'm pressing this button. Thank you so much for sending me money to tell me that. Thank you so much. I don't know. Maybe I just got to switch mics. Let me know if that was earlier. What time was that? That was at 11:28. It's 11:47. Is my microphone still messed up? Let me know. It is not static. Your computer and net or internet is acting up. Okay. Okay. Let's see something. Thank you. I'm on the right Wi-Fi. Hold on. That's why I always have this headset on, just in case I have to switch. All right. Just in case I have to switch, we're just going to see if I can switch this mic real fast. Let me know if you can hear me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who was that? Damon. Hey, Damon, how you doing? Thank you so much. BJ, thank y'all so much for letting me know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. DJ McKinney. DJ McKinney also getting drafted first round. Yep, he's supposed to be a first round pick. Let me know if the mic has cleared up. Coach Prime is damn great coach. If you can bring up 2 schools from little to nothing to bring competitive, to being competitive, if that don't tell these haters nothing, then they are just stupid and blind. I agree. It says he's a darn good coach. That's what it says. Anthony said, forget about these that don't want to leave the oppressors in real way. I don't know what it is. I just feel like the situation's been enabled. That's just since I've been on X, I feel like it's been enabled. I feel like Shedeur and Tony choose to be themselves. I feel like Myles Garrett chose to be honest. Who else? Njoku, he doesn't shy away from Shedeur, but I do feel like a lot of the guys that are out of the league, because maybe they still want to be associated with the league, maybe they ran through their money. I don't know. I feel like those guys are the ones that are enabling the league. I do. I feel like they're enabling a situation. That's why it's so bad. I don't think the league cares for all of the negativity from the fans. I don't think they like that very much at all, right? I don't think Cleveland does. But I feel like the NFL is the kind of organization that they don't, if white people are upset, then they'll care. But I don't think they care if we're upset. But I think they underestimate just how many black people support this league. I mean, if the players are majority black, then I mean, who you think they people are, And then look at the colleges. Coach Prime started a trend. So you know how you have the CU aunties, right? They're a fan club. But at the same time, they might not be associated with the university, but you see how they show up. And now people talking about the unks, right? People were impressed with Cleveland fans, 9 Cleveland fans showing up with a 12 jersey on for Shedeur at the game. There are people who are like, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, but I'm going to ride for this kid. People see Shedeur has become a movement. Somebody likened it to Obama in 2008. I could see it. So the NFL didn't anticipate this. They didn't anticipate when they pushed Shedeur down, when they devalued him, when they colluded against him, when they discriminated against him, when they humiliated him. They didn't anticipate that people would show up like this. They did not. That game had 71,000 in attendance. That's a lot of people for a preseason game. It was packed out. I looked at the rest of the stadiums. Jacksonville wasn't packed like that. The games that I did see, Tampa, I can't remember if Tampa was, I don't think they were packed out like that either. 71,000. I said there were only 500 tickets left hours before the game. 71,000. I'm hoping y'all can hear me because I changed mics. Let's see. Let me go to the bottom and see if somebody tells me that they changed mics. Can y'all hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Hey, Jungle Brother, how you doing? It said the phone will be ringing tomorrow for trades. He is too good, and Cleveland wants him gone so they can tank the season for the draft. Okay. Cleveland doesn't have to tank. They got 2 first-round picks. They got the number 1 pick. I think that they got for Travis. Yeah, they got the number 1 pick. They don't have to tank. It's something y'all can double check it. But I think Cleveland got if you look at what they received in the trade for Travis, it was several picks, but I think they got a first round pick, but I think it was the number 1 pick. So they don't need to tank. Kevin Stefanski will lose the locker room this week, depending on what happens in practice and what transpires during the Eagle game. Okay, I like it. Oh, thank you, SR. Thank you. I don't know what the heck happened to my mic. I just bought this mic. That's what return policies are for. So, okay, thank you for that, SR, for letting me know you can hear me. So, do y'all agree with Anita? Kevin Stefanski will lose the locker room this week, depending on what happens in practice and what transpires during the Eagles game. Okay, so the Eagles game is a deciding factor. Okay. Thank you, Derek. Thank you so much. Thank you, SR. Thank you, Jungle Brother. Thank you. I want Dylan to start next week. I'm trying to see something. I know that's right. I want Dylan to start because why are we coddling him? Why are we coddling him? Why we got the 4th round, the 4th string QB and the guy we brought in a few days ago? Why we got them carrying the load? You see? They're going to get called out for that. They're going to get called out for that. And if it's true that grade 2 hamstring by Pickett is out till December, that I hope they meant September, because that's crazy. That means you paying him for nothing. So I want to see you kick on him like you've been kicking Deshaun, because you said Deshaun get paid for nothing. They don't want Deshaun to play. They could actually trade him. Yep. But who going to trade for him? You see? Told y'all it was not a coincidence Shedeur and Deshaun ended up in Cleveland. It was a telltale, and it's telling. It makes you look at all of their black quarterbacks, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. He will lose the locker room, but not this week. Okay, D said it's going to happen, but not this week. Don said he don't think it's this week either. Okay. It said they can't hide Dylan indefinitely. Right. Like they seemingly are doing Pickett. That's what they seem to be doing to Pickett. So that means if they think Pickett is out, which is not a surprise, because when I read that Jerry Jeudy said he was sharing a locker with Flacco, I said Flacco is their starter. Flacco is the starter. And if you can't even put Dylan out here to see what he could do, if you coddle him through Philadelphia and you think the Rams going to be easy, you're going to have to put Dylan out there sometime. What you going to do? Trade and don't nobody know what he could do? I mean, I could see you doing it. It's a backdoor shady deal. It's not ethical, but you could do it just to get him off the roster, find him somewhere else to go. Look how they said, I told somebody, I said Quinn Ewers going dead last. I said it's going to put him in position to be behind Tua. He is starting, and nobody is arguing about it. Cleveland is one of those bottom feeder teams that has an issue with a black starting quarterback for more than 5 or 6, 7 or 8 games that can win, which just points to the fact that they pre-draft with Shedeur under false pretenses. They were pre-drafting him with him to be what? Number 2 overall. What round that's in? The first round. They have never drafted a black quarterback in the first round. Look how they treat Shedeur. All they do is hurl stereotypes at it. Kevin Stefanski, I'm like, y'all bold with it, because there's so many people. 71,000 people showed up at the game. Millions of people watched on TV. They said it was one of the most watched preseason games. Not a surprise. Non-football fans are paying attention. I'm like, I don't know how much longer y'all think y'all gonna get away with this. I'm like, that intervention gonna come from somewhere that you don't expect. Because basically, after everything that's already happened after the draft, hell, next week should have been conversations about a congressional hearing. But I know why we didn't get there. The draft in Washington in 2027 is why we didn't get that congressional hearing. So that's why they're letting it fly. They think they got support, but they was wrong before, right? Nope, they cannot hide Dylan indefinitely. It says they're faking hamstring injuries. Shedeur got Garrett and Njoku in his corner for real. Yeah. And he got some others that hadn't spoken up. So maybe they have all of these skilled players they handpicked because they think they, gonna go along with whatever they come up with. See, you can't use me like that. You can't draft me as if I'm good. But really, you drafted me because you don't want the black players to, to be the decision, the deciders, the factor in the locker room swinging to the left. They believe all the white players they drafted are going to be players that go along with Kevin Stefanski. That's what they think. I'm telling you, that's what they think. Shedeur's good. He's shielded. He's covered. Kevin Stefanski has chosen a hill to terminate himself on. Every day I remind people he should be fired, and every day I get more and more support for that. Kevin Stefanski is one of those people right now that is just hard-headed. But I know he has the support of the owner because the owner told us how he felt. I knew he felt that way. I knew he didn't pick Shedeur. I said it today. They set him up pre-draft. That's fraud. False pretenses. You weren't going to never draft him. When Shedeur got to number 1 around October of 2024, here come Cleveland. We want to get you at number 2. No, you don't. You never had a black quarterback in the first round. If I would have known that, like what I knew about the Giants, oh Lord. But notice the media didn't pigeonhole Shedeur to the Browns. They barely talked about it. They said the Browns was gonna get scammed out of their pick. They don't have no money. How they gonna get a quarterback? I'm like, they had money. They gave it to Mason Graham. They had money. They were never gonna get Shedeur. I think Shedeur starts week 1 with Huntley and Gabriel as the backups. In Cincinnati, I don't know what it is about that game, but that seems to be like a huge, a big like stage for them. They're going to put Flacco out there, and they playing the Bengals. I don't know what kind of defense they have. Does anybody know if the Bengals have a good defense? So they're going to try to push Shedeur on the shelf after preseason. Believe me. They're going to try to put Shedeur on the shelf, and they were going to try to play Dillon. But now they know that's probably not going to work out. So they're going to try to shelve him anyway. But somebody get ready to get cut. It shouldn't be Huntley. It should be Dillon. Hell, Huntley scored a touchdown. Kevin has already lost the locker room. The players see what's going on. I don't think he's lost it yet. He should have. I don't think he's lost it yet. Remember, everybody's not on the same side. Some of those people are going to go along with Kevin Stefanski just because, right? Like I said, look at the Browns fans. We done figured out why too many of them, couldn't see Shedeur because they didn't want to. But there are a lot of them that do. I remember seeing the big crowd of people that were so happy to get him. The haters that are actually Browns fans. The haters, they quiet. Everybody else is happy. But they know. They've been following this organization for a long time. Well, I'm here for Shedeur, but they got to give Dillon a chance because he was their 3rd round pick. Well, they better get on it. There's only 2 games left. And Philly is next. I think they're going to wait to the Rams. Pickett was out the day Huntley was brought in. And Huntley played, and he wasn't even there 24, 48 hours. But then Teddy Bridgewater was in Tampa, and it was like, well, he just got here, so we didn't put him in the game. I say, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And people are going to say, well, that's because the others are hurt. How convenient. Flacco wasn't hurt. He could get in there. I think the Browns' strategy is to have a terrible record so they can get in the first round. They already have a first-round pick. The Browns have a first-round pick. The Browns don't want to look good with Shedeur. Let me tell you why. Yeah, it's because they never had a black quarterback in the first round. So they're going to try to use this first round because they got 2 first-round picks. They're going to try to use one of them to get whoever it is they want. They got their sights set on somebody. It's not probably, and I hope it's not. What's his name from South Carolina? Yeah, I hope it's not him. So they try to get their white quarterback out the draft next year. They got the pick. They don't need the tank. They don't want to look good with Shedeur, so they can justify trading Shedeur. If they win with Shedeur, how the hell they gonna get another quarterback next year? They not. People gonna be like, we good, we good. We don't want to start over no more. See, that's why they holding Shedeur back. Because the owner wants to get somebody next year. He says Shedeur wasn't his pick. Have you heard him come out and say anything otherwise? No. He wants to get a white quarterback. Or he gonna get the one out of Carolina and screw him over next. They don't want to win with Shedeur. They don't mind winning with Flacco. They don't mind winning with Flacco. They don't mind winning with Pickett. They never considered winning with Dillon because he's third string. They only using Dillon to keep Shedeur out the way. Don't be surprised if Dillon is the one that get traded and Huntley and Shedeur are the two at the end of the roster. Don't be surprised, because I think they got called out. I think they privately have been called out for trying to make Dillon something he's not. You can't do that. You can't turn Dillon into a QB1 because you want to hold back a black QB1. And that's exactly what they were doing. Now they got to protect him. For what? You drafted him third round. You never thought he was starting. He was going to be your little bench warmer in case something happened to Pickett and something happened to Flacco. Like in 2023, Flacco got to the end of the season, won 4 games, and got injured, so he couldn't be there for the biggest game. They only getting Dillon ready because they don't want to get Shedeur ready. They don't want to win with Shedeur because they want to trade him. They want to use him as trade capital to embarrass him, which is why they're devaluing Shedeur. We don't have plans for you. We don't want you. We don't value you. We're going to trade you. Now, if he only a 5th round pick, what you expecting to get? You're going to trade him for a 5th round pick so he could be pigeonholed as a QB that's not talented, as a developmental project like they call it Dak for 9 years. See, the difference between Shedeur and Dak is Shedeur already balled out. The genie out the bottle and it ain't coming back in. So they hoping and praying. They hoping and praying. Or they going to have to trade Shedeur, and I think that's where we headed. I think it's going to be a situation where they're going to be like, look, we're not winning with Shedeur, so somebody going to have to come get him. Because if we keep him, we can't bench him. Think about it. You can't bench him no more. You can't keep him on the bench. It's going to be a riot if you keep him on the bench. He's not just the best QB they have. He makes NFL veteran throws. He's the best QB that came out of this class, which is why they said his class was weak. It wasn't. Shedeur is that damn good. So all of them balling out, Shedeur included, shows that Coach Prime is a good coach. All of Shedeur's wide receivers, including Weaver, hell, throw Floria in there, shows that Shedeur is a damn good quarterback. They just don't want him. But they can't justify that. They can't say that out loud. They could say that in 1968 to Marlon Briscoe. But they can't say it to Shedeur Sanders in 2025. And now that the fans are in it, believe me, they having conversations amongst themselves trying to figure out what to do. Trade him. If you send him somewhere else, it's going to be too late in the season for him to learn the plays. He's not going to have the opportunity to start. Trade him. That's going to free him from the grips of a horrible organization. What did Shedeur say? They're going to have to let me play when he was talking to his dad. People thought he was being cocky. No, they have to let him and Dillon play. It is also organizational malpractice if neither one of these quarterbacks make the field and so people can see what they can do. You can't say he's not good if you don't let him play. You can't say Dillon is good if he don't play. You cannot justify holding Shedeur behind Dillon if Dillon never plays in the preseason. You could try it, but you're going to get a problem. You're going to have a problem. That's like the Minnesota Vikings and J.J. McCarthy. They're like, well, technically, he's not a rookie because this is his second year. They've given him the keys to the franchise. He has 0 seconds of NFL film, but they ready to roll with him. Shedeur is the most NFL-ready QB, and they want to put him back at number 4. That is so overtly racist. That's what they're being. And they're like, who gonna check me, boo? That's basically what it is. I'm like, maybe the one that checked you last time. Because they might want something else. It's gonna be somebody. But I think Kevin Stefanski loses the locker room if the week 1 game is trashed. That's what I think. Because see, everybody's willing to be patient, right? Through preseason. Oh, preseason don't count. It count for Jackson Dart. So the NFL need to get them a uniform process. That's what they don't have. And what they do have, they might as well just throw it out because the pre-draft process is trash because everything is based on preference. I say Kevin Stefanski loses the locker room week 1 after that Cincinnati game if it's trash. Now, if the Cincinnati game goes well, Flacco plays, I don't know if Pickett will be playing, and he balls out through the game and they win, people going to sit tight. In other words, Shedeur is going to be an emergency break glass in case of emergency only. They're going to keep the pecking order the same unless somebody stand on their head. And for that to happen, Philly going to have to go bad without Shedeur. Even if he set it up to win, they take him out the game, somebody else come and lose it. If he go in and he win Philly, people going to expect to see him with the Rams. But have we seen Dillon yet? No. So they got to get Dillon in there. And for Stefanski to say Shedeur going to get plenty of reps with Philly, I'm like, Shedeur already played 3.5 quarters. Go on, put your dude in there. Put your third string dude in there. We trying to see something. That's what you need to do. I think they trying to pick a team that's not a formidable threat. I think they see the Rams as not being a threat because they know Stafford is not playing. DTR is actually probably going to play in Philly instead of Jalen Hurts. But then again, we saw Bryce Young and they starters. The question is, will they put Dillon out there with the 3s and 4s from Cleveland against the starters from Philly? No. Because they got to be careful with him. Sound a little legal to me. I think the Browns strategy is to, they already got a first round pick. They're going to let him play. They should. It said they're going to let him play. They should. He's a 3rd round pick. Yeah, put him on in there. They have to let him play. Dillon has to play. He has to play or he's going to be on the bench. I watched all of her video because she wasn't talking about anything. Oh, okay. Buckeye Polly said, don't worry. The injuries are coming and they'll have to start Shedeur. Yep. And here's what somebody else said. Somebody else was saying the same thing that Buckeye Polly is saying. It said any quarterback in Cleveland, just sit tight. It said because the ones in front of you, they're not going to do well or they're going to be injured and you're going to get your opportunity. That came from an analyst on somebody's network today. I don't know Cleveland like that, but, what did Buckeye Polly say? And from what I know about 2023, Deshaun Watson started the first 2 games. They took him out the 3rd game. They put in DTR against Baltimore. Then I think they rotated with P.J. Washington for 2 games. And then eventually they went back to DTR. Then they went back to Deshaun. They amassed the 7-4 record. Let Flacco come off the practice squad. He lost the first game, but he won the other 4. And then the last game, which was going to take them into the playoffs, I do believe, or that might have been a divisional game or something, a wild card game or something. Flacco got hurt in that 4th game. There was 1 game left. They went to somebody totally different. I was like, why you just didn't go back to PJ, who was 2-0? Why you didn't go back to Deshaun, who was healthy? Or why you didn't go back to DTR? So they had DTR and Flacco playing in certain games. Again, Flacco hadn't played a full season since 2017. So if Pickett is not on the roster because he injured with a hamstring, then that means it's Flacco, who y'all saw grinning when Shedeur was balling out, while the other 2 look worried. And Shedeur. So the Philly game, everybody going to be watching that one too. So they say the most talked about quarterback in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I think that's what it said. It's Shedeur Sanders. I'm like, wow. Contextual, how you doing? It said by letting Shador go first, they really messed up. 60% completions is his floor. Right. And here's the thing. He even said he didn't play well. And people were like, one of the announcers was like, what? Yeah. People started pulling out the stats that Shador completion was at 74%. That he, everything about Shador, the truth. That's what people were speaking. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because he had a 74% completion rating. How was he a fifth round pick? How did he get drafted so late? Look at his throws. Surgical precision. People cannot get over that first touchdown. So much so, I don't think they even talk about the second one. Look at how good Gage and Luke Florio looks. They both should make the team. They both should make the team. But, this is not hard-headedness. This is institutional racism bumping into Black excellence. Well, I mean, definitely that. But I said, the reason why I said Stefanski is hard-headed. Nobody's forcing Stefanski. He could quit that job. He could say no. When you choose to let people use you and you want to keep, I think he describes himself as the servant leader for the Browns. I think that's how he describes himself on his bio. I saw somewhere. It's servant leader. And I think I saw the word Browns in there, Cleveland Browns. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's what he think he doing. That's interesting. That is very interesting. That is, and when you choose to let people use you like that, you got to roll with the consequences. Don Jay said that it'll be the regular season. It said they will have a terrible record and get in the first round. The Cleveland media was talking about the draft in July. It said Bengals defense is bad, but playoff teams are playoff teams. Okay. So they don't have a good defense. That's interesting. Dillon shouldn't be anywhere near starting right now. Right. He ain't even proven himself. Well, what we saw is not good. What we saw is not good. It should be Flacco and Shador. That's what it should be. People said Flacco should start, play the first 7 games, and go ahead and let Shador close out the season. And if they do it, that's what they was always planning to do for $4 million instead of 46. Maybe these retired players out of NFL had to sign an NDA. I said so. I said to keep their retirement benefits. I think that they must have signed some kind of waiver. Just like the contract, you can't say nothing. I say don't speak on the topic then. Don't be out there with people looking to you for guidance, speaking on things, and you're being disingenuous when you do that. When you call racism weird hate, you're trying to dress it up and make it cute. It's not cute at all. They have made Shador's life hell. He's just wearing it well. But he shouldn't have to do that because nobody else should. He shouldn't have to be perfect when nobody else is even. The others are mid. MID. Mackey said the ESPN highlights of the Cleveland Browns quarterback Shador Sanders versus the Carolina Panthers has gotten 2.1 million views. The first time a Cleveland Browns preseason game has gotten that many views. Wow. And I watched it on some other channel. I'm like, wow. Okay. And that's just on ESPN. Wow. Now watch the rest of the networks going to want to start talking about it so they can get that. That's interesting. Thank you for that, Mackie. Thank you for sharing. It said Bengals defense is bad. Plus their best defensive player is a holdout. Uh-oh. Shador starts game if he looks good at practice against Philly. Okay. Oh, they have a joint practice with Philly like they did Carolina. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right, y'all. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. Who? Maurice Gamble. I'm going to put a star in that one because we might have to come back to that. Okay. It said the Browns want to be in the draft of 2026. Right. The only reason it would be all right is because they are selectively holding certain players back. Jerry Jones caught in hallway draft night and said he exhausted picks for 4th round and couldn't get Shador. Okay. I know he said it was going to have to do a lot of trading. So maybe that's what he was referencing. Don't put anything past Jerry Jones at all. At all. Especially when it comes to business and making money and exploiting people. Don't, don't. It said congressional hearings will never happen if CTE lack of adequate health insurance, turf of real grass to limit knee injuries isn't even for hearing, then nothing will be. Actually, the Washington Commanders had a congressional hearing due to organizational malpractice. The Washington Commanders. Now you see they got their act together. What did it take? A congressional hearing. That's what it's gonna take. But something else gonna happen because we don't live in the climate for that. But don't be surprised because sometimes people want things, right? Sometimes people want things like, their friends want to buy the Saints and, hey, I'm going to need you to do this. And we did say that the FBI was investigating supposedly from the NFL Players Association side. And I find that very interesting. I find that very interesting considering who's over the FBI. Unless they think it's good that it's the NFL Players Association, but strategically, that's a good starting place. And when I find something there, I'm coming over to you. So, it happened with the Washington Commanders. The same thing, organizational malpractice. And if Dillon don't play or, they can't hold Shedeur back. But the whole Dillon thing, they're going to either have to trade him, but he can't just sit there and nobody can see what he does. He's supposed to play in the preseason, So it'll be interesting to see unless they get some kind of buy-in from him and his team. Shedeur will be in Dallas, LA, or New Orleans by September, in my honest opinion. Hell, he might end up in Carolina. They like him. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird scenario. They had him on all of their highlights and everything. So Dillon probably isn't hurt, but he ain't playing in that game against the Eagles. I understand the Eagles lost players, but the Super Bowl defense is pretty good. Gabriel will get embarrassed. Yeah, they want Arch Manning, but he's not coming out. Nope, he's not. Hey, Tuna, welcome back. Elijah said they will not be able to get another quarterback because college players are watching. They're going to get somebody because one thing I have learned from just doing research, they basically tell certain people, we're going to draft you anyway. That's like a motto. They did it to Caleb Williams. We're going to draft you anyway. I'm like, what the hell? See, people thought Coach Prime was the only one that had concerns. No, they don't know Caleb Williams' story. They don't know his story. He did everything he could considering going to whatever the UFL or XFL is, right? Now, what I say will happen is hopefully they don't get the guy out of Carolina, which is why his father should have took that money for 2 years to let this shake itself out. Because, they could do the same thing to him. Cleveland is the team where people get dumped off. Especially when there's a problem somewhere else. If I'm not mistaken, I said it was the Washington Commanders, right? They had RG3 after he left Washington, after they cheated him out of $16 million. I bet if I go look at the year that the congressional hearing took place with the Commanders and when RG3 got to Cleveland, it might align. Maybe he was a quarterback during the congressional hearing. That's how bad it was. And Washington was bad. It was bad. So yeah, the players that probably gonna end up in Cleveland don't want to go there. Nobody wants to go there. 9 quarterbacks don't want to go there. Shedeur not getting traded. He's too much of a media magnet. Now, I have seen situations. Here's the thing. They're gonna be forced into it. I said that before. They're gonna be forced into it. I said even if it's Dallas is not asking Cleveland for anything. They just gonna gas up a jet and get Shedeur, and they're gonna tell Cleveland. And remember, don't forget Stefanski. What's his name? Barry out here taking credit for it, and they don't like that. They don't like that. So I was like, they're gonna snatch Shedeur right from under him and send him somewhere else, and Barry gonna get to work and find out like everybody else. We moved Shedeur. None of this is on the up and up. You can't think rationally because they're not being rational. Sometimes you get backed into a corner. The longer Shedeur is on that roster, they're gonna have to do right. And Stefanski's press conference was a signal that he is not interested in doing right at all. When he was asked about Shedeur, the answer he gave should have been similar to what the Carolinas coach said about Shedeur. He just said, yeah, he was very general. All of our quarterbacks did good. Didn't call anybody by name. He didn't give any constructive feedback or anything. Why do I want the Panthers to get rid of Young? I don't want I didn't say they was gonna get rid of him. I said they're gonna stack them two together like the rest of the black quarterbacks. I didn't say I want them to get rid of Bryce Young. They gonna stack them together. Y'all don't notice how the Carolina Panthers like Shedeur? So much so they had Jimmy mic'd up. And Shedeur and Jimmy will be on the same team. Yep, I can see it. I can see it. They'd be stacked up there together. And Jimmy and Shedeur would be on the same team. So Carolina would get all of the media attention and they love it. So much so they had Shedeur, the only person at one point, in their highlight reel. And it's obvious Andy Dalton is not their backup solution. And that would keep Shedeur away from QB1. Yep, Carolina looks like a viable option based on irrational and racist thinking. Yep, that's what it is. I can see it. Don't be surprised. And I wouldn't be mad because right now the goal is get me the hell away from Cleveland. But Shedeur said Cleveland is home. So he good. But I think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be the Rams because I don't think they want him behind Matt Stafford. That's like putting Shedeur behind J.J. McCarthy. They're not going to do that either. Just like when they were talking about Indianapolis, I said they are not sending Shedeur behind Daniel Jones because Shedeur going to usurp, eclipse Daniel Jones. So you see that didn't happen. People thought maybe Dylan could go there. Dylan can't go nowhere because Dylan is in front of Shedeur. If I move Dylan out the way, then Shedeur going to be next. And then Tyler is going to be last. And I can't have Shedeur behind Pickett. Yeah, that ain't going to work either. So Dallas, the Panthers, the Panthers. That's it. That's all I got. You can drop the teams that y'all think, but I'm going to go with the Panthers. Make a lot of sense. They love that media attention. They were eating that up. The Browns get the Jaguars pick in the first round. And it depends on where the Jaguars finish up at the end of the season. They get the Jaguars first pick. Isn't that what they sent away Travis for? A first round pick? They already got the pick. They got 2 first round picks. So they're going to get them a quarterback at number 1, which is why they don't want to win with Shedeur, which is why they need to trade him. But see, to be mean to continue the collusion, to continue the humiliation, they want to hold him and let him sit there, but he's too good. And everybody now sees it. He went from being the best quarterback on the roster to he need to be on a team where he can play because he can win. They said the last time Cleveland won a preseason game, I guess, maybe the first one was 2022. There's some numbers out there. Andrew Berry was all in Shedeur's corner after Huntley went in. Now Andrew interested. He might not trade him. He's not going to have an option. Okay, I want y'all to understand something. Cleveland didn't want Deshaun Watson. They didn't want RG3. They didn't want Tyrod Taylor. They did not value DTR. They did not value Deshaun Kaiser. They did not value PJ Walker. They did not want Shedeur. They were forced to take Shedeur and just hold him over there. Look at what they do to black quarterbacks. Cleveland is that place. How you think they got a stadium? As horrible as they have been. Philadelphia getting a new stadium, but it makes sense, right? So how is it Cleveland is getting a new stadium and Philadelphia just won a Super Bowl and they get a new stadium? Because Cleveland has agreed to do some things, to take some players. They said if Mike Tomlin call you and say to you, I got a player for you, hang up on him. See, everybody know who everybody is. Everybody know who the players are. You don't hear anybody making a trade for Shedeur because they can't. They wanted to give the impression that he wasn't valuable, which is why they could pay him only $4 million. You would think Cleveland and Andrew Berry is over there trying to convince. He should be trying to convince Haslam. Okay, look, I know we didn't want to do this, but, economics. We got him for $4 million and we could win. Well, how are we going to trade him? That's the sticking point. If we win with him, how do we trade somebody? How do we get another quarterback? You don't. But for somebody who thought Shedeur would outproduce their draft stock, you had to know he couldn't just sit on your bench. You had to at some point agree to trade him. And they said Andrew Berry likes to make trades throughout the year. I think he's gonna be traded, but it's not gonna be Andrew Berry and has him thinking about it. It's gonna be somebody like Jerry Jones. And I don't know what kind of clout the Panthers have, but it's gonna be one of those trades. It absolutely has to happen, and it's not really much you could say about it. It's gonna be one of those favors that they've already done. They've done. Deshaun Watson was a favor. PJ Walker was a favor. DTR, DeShone Kizer. They didn't want none of them. If they thought highly of DeShone Kizer, they drafted their franchise QB in the second round. He was a developmental QB. They drafted their franchise QB in the second round, and he went 0-15. Who leaves people in to go 0-15? Draft and destroy, and that's exactly what they did. Cut and trade for 2 years. He had 0 stats for the last 2 years, but he was around for 4 years, so guess what he got? Retirement packages. So that just makes it all nice. And you probably did sign some waivers, so you can't say nothing. I have seen an interview with him. He did say he was getting worse and worse and worse. So they drafted him. Instead of him going to a team where he could actually go and ball out like Shedeur, they sent him to Cleveland where his career was killed, terminated, extinguished. Draft and destroy, cut and trade. It's a cycle. It happened to Vince Young. Y'all really think they took Michael Vick back because they just wanted to? No. The Browns get the Jaguars pick. Yep. It said after that performance, they know they have to make a choice, right? Stefanski don't seem to get the memo. He's still saying, he's still not, he's still trying to hide Shedeur. He think he got a feather in his cap by saying Shedeur gonna get a lot of reps in Philly. Oh, what you think you're gonna set him up? Okay, all right. From what I could see, players on the other teams like Shedeur. That's what I heard. I don't think Shedeur will be traded. Last night showed they might not voluntarily trade him, but do not ever discount a forced trade. Last night showed me the world wanted to see him play, and he puts butts in seats, and he's selling jerseys. Shedeur is the moneymaker, and yet he's still not my pick. With all of the goodness that Shedeur brings, winning, they knew that, right? When they traded one, they could have had Shedeur and Travis. I think they could have had Jimmy too. Somebody did looked at it, the way they picked. They were like, they could have had Shedeur, Travis, and Jimmy based on where they were drafted or whatever. They had 2 first-round picks. They could have had the dynamic duo. They could have been selling the top 2 jerseys, and they traded it away because they want the number 1 pick because they want to get their franchise QB next year. They do not care. They do not care what Shedeur brings to the table. They don't want it. And maybe because I'm from the South, I get it. I know what they're doing. It's obvious. They treat him like a walking stereotype because they try not to say, we don't want a black quarterback. That's why they keep using stereotypes. They don't care. You would think they would put him out there, celebrate him. If they wanted him, he would have had the number 2 jersey. He would have had Travis to throw to with the 12. They could have made money off of both of them. They didn't want Shedeur because they want to get their guy next year because the top 4 quarterbacks coming out is already supposedly orchestrated. Or what? They're not black for the first time probably since 2020. They succeeded in the draft. That's why they still moving forward. Kevin Stefanski feel like he winning and he's a servant. So he doing what he told to do. Andrew Berry could be trying to convince Haslam, hey, let's just make some money off of this. But they could already had that conversation. They knew that when they were pre-drafting with Shedeur in the first round.
which is why I know they was playing in his face. Because look at, he's there now and you don't want him. You could make money with him. You still don't want him. You could win with him. You still don't want him. No. 17 to 32 means more to the NFL in the draft. And Haslam does not want Shedeur, who's black, to lead his team. He doesn't want him to be the face of the franchise. When people say they have a lot of white skilled players, they want a white quarterback to go with it. I don't give a damn what he brings to the table. They don't want it. They just made up things about him, all stereotypical, to tell you without being direct. The things they didn't like about him. And entourage, that was in the draft. That was pre-draft. He entitled. He not supposed to have no decision-making ability and power. You can't choose for yourself. Deshaun Watson couldn't choose for himself. Why the hell would Shedeur be able to choose for himself? Hell, Lamar Jackson couldn't choose for himself, and he's still paying the price. Look at the Cleveland Browns team. Look at who works there. Deshaun Watson can't play. They never had to draft Shedeur. They didn't have a choice. And they're not going to have a choice in the trade either. Sometimes things happen and you get a phone call and you just no longer, this person is no longer going to be with the team. And they end up in a better position. That's just how it goes. They don't want him because he's black. That's why Deshaun Watson ain't playing. That's it, guys. I know y'all don't want to buy into it, but that's what it is. Cleveland 3rd and 4th string defense is good, so I don't know what Cleveland is going to do. Oh, you talking about Philly? Oh, you talk Elijah. Can you expound on what you're saying? It said they are trying to put the genie back in the bottle with Shedeur, right? So they're going right back to their habits. Trashing him, this, that, and the other. And that's where I say, okay, this is where we need to start sending out some cease and desist. This is why we need to start sending out our cease and desist to these reporters. Mary Cabot works for the Plain Dealer, right? Send one over there to them and put her name on it so they can know you're talking about her. That's one, right? If Tony Grossi wants to continue on, he works for somebody too, because I saw the name when I was reading about him. Send one over to that corporation. Yeah, that's what you need to do. I'm surprised Nike hadn't talked to the NFL. Like, hey. You see Nike put out it's a matter of time. All of these people are strategically trying to walk because they have partnerships. Shedeur has the same partnerships and more, and probably better than the NFL, to be honest. How many players have you seen advertised as NFL players with major brands and sponsors? Travis, Shedeur. We should be seeing Ted McMillan pretty soon because he with Jordan. Emeka Egbuka was with Sony, and Shiloh was in the background. I'm like, did they know they got Shiloh in this photo? I'm pretty sure they did. It says Sanders. And they need to give him his 21. Shedeur jersey was the only jersey not on sale this weekend on Fanatics. I bought Travis jersey for under $100. What? Travis jersey was under $100? Interesting. The teal one? That is interesting. If Flacco was petty, he'd be like, oh my God, I have a lower back sore. Hey, I'm convinced a lot of these 2% battery lifers are dropping like flies because they see what's happening and they don't want to see. Kirk Cousins was the one, in my opinion, the one that I have, the only quarterback to speak up and say, they lied to me. The facility, they lied to us about Shedeur. Kirk Cousins, they lied to me. They misled me. I would have stayed in Minnesota if I knew they were going to draft Michael Penix Jr. in the first round. That's what he said. Then in Tennessee, they had Cam competing with Will Levis. Will Levis said he got a shoulder injury, so he out the way. Pickett got a hamstring, and but he injury prone, so it's believable, right? Yeah, Dylan, they made him look bad, and he got his stuff out the way. He got a hamstring issue. Nobody else is hurt. No, nobody else is hurt. Nobody else is hurt. Flacco was smiling. He was grinning ear to ear. Flacco looked like, look, if I'm gonna be off my couch, away from my kids for 18, 17 games, hell, I want to win something. But you know what though? Flacco has incentives up to $13 million. I read it. Somebody can Google it and see if it's still out there. His contract is $4 million. I think I read he had up to $13 million in incentives. So I'm smiling too, because if Shedeur is QB2 or whatever, if we work together, if we the new dynamic duo, I'm gonna get that money. Yep. And it's gonna be worth it. And then he could go retire, because they would have paid him 4 times 3 times over. That's the next 3 years. He could take off and retire and go be with his family. This is the jackpot for him. If Shedeur is the QB, he gonna hit those marks on that contract. Too bad I can't see what it looked like. Maybe I can find it. I was like, 13 million in incentives. He know he not gonna get there with Pickett. He not gonna get there with Dylan. He gonna get there with Shedeur. He gonna play the 7 games, and Shedeur will play the rest. And then they'll have their lightning in a bottle at $4 million. But that don't seem to matter to them. It doesn't seem to matter to them. And I think they knew that Shedeur and Coach Prime, because Coach Prime was in the league, what the league would like. Oh, for sure they'll draft you because you're the best player coming out of college, most NFL ready player, all the money that they could make. Surely you a lock. And they interested in you at number 2. Oh, well, they said no. The Jacksonville Jaguars game was not sold out. But 71,205, it was damn near sold out with 1,500 tickets left. They wanted Travis to be the draw for the NFL. It's Shedeur. So that's another way they done messed up. Dylan Gabriel definitely playing via Philly. He can't run. Okay. That's what I say. Put him out there. Put him out there. They should, if they think DTR playing. They don't believe in him. They traded him right for Pickett. So, put him out there. Watch DTR get out there and ball out. Watch. I'm going to be watching this game. And I want DTR to get out there and ball out. I don't think Shedeur need to play. Put Huntley, and I think Shedeur could take some time off or whatever. And they got a 3rd string and a 4th string, so they'll probably put them out there. But they're going to try to make it easy for Dylan. That's what I think. If Flacco was smiling, then, man, peer pressure really did a number on him. What? Why? Because at first he didn't want to be the mentor? Hell, he didn't need to be the mentor. I read somewhere that it said Pickett was learning from Shedeur. I was like, okay. I went to verify it. I couldn't find it. So sometimes people just be talking. But then again, you saw that surgical throw Shedeur made, that first touchdown. Did you see Shedeur doing his pregame walk before the game? Yeah, I saw it. Walking without his dad. Yep. Tuna said, Max said to Tuna, Dylan Gabriel thought he was going to get away. Yep. He can't. He got to play. Dylan Gabriel thought he was a smooth criminal, right? He said, I'm going to come here and make this money. See, all that having him on the golf course was gassing him up. That was Stefanski trying to say in Shedeur's face that this is my pick. I'm like, okay. Put him out there then. Dylan Gabriel was considering how to get out of his contract on that bench. Let me tell y'all what that picture was looking like. Let me see if I still have it. I actually did like a bubble. I kind of like, how you do a little bubble and put the word bubble in there, a text bubble. That was so funny to me. Here it is. I think, no, that's Stefanski. Here it is. I think it's the 3 over here. I have 2 pictures, so one of them might not be with Flacco. Let's see. I think this might be the one with Flacco. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I don't know who the guy in the white is. I guess he's just somebody. Dylan looked like, okay. I mean, let me go back to him. Flacco looked like he see $13 million. Flacco looked like he looking at Shedeur as a lottery ticket. Come on. I want you to ball out. Deshaun looked like he finna text Jilly, his wife, and say, babe, Maybe don't worry about getting that house in Cleveland. Let's just look in Miami or somewhere like that. Like, okay, this not gonna work out. And Dylan just looked, the look on his face. Deshaun is pensive. Deshaun is thinking, okay, this not gonna work out. Dylan ain't thinking. It's like, how should I say it? He's not thinking. You can see Deshaun is in deep thought. Okay, I ain't gonna buy that house. I was gonna buy a house, but I'm not gonna buy that house. That's the kind of thoughts that Deshaun, is having. But Dylan just looks. He just looks sad. I don't want to say he looked disappointed. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I can't find the words for Dylan. He just looked sad. I mean, I said that yesterday. He just looked sad. Like, and I don't know why he's sad, because he's not better than Shedeur. He wasn't better than Shedeur in college. You're not better than him now. Hopefully he realized they used him in college to block Shedeur, and they using him on the Browns roster to block Shedeur. If you're that third string QB, they didn't believe in you no way. They weren't gonna let you start for them. They just used you as a wedge. But it don't look like he know that yet. It just kind of looked like he just, just sad. So let me see what y'all are saying. We've been on here for 2 hours, but that's fine. It says, you saw how fast Nike jumped on it after the game. Yep. And why people started posting and tagging Nike stats of other quarterbacks? I'm like, why are you doing that? I don't ever see anybody do that for anybody else. Like, that's crazy. Shedeur receipt is, I'm just a fifth rounder. Right. Put your guy out there. I think Shedeur will finally get a watch deal after this showing. What you mean a watch deal? Tuna with who? Like AP or somebody? What you mean a watch deal? I play petty with petty. I just be like, I don't feel comfortable with playing the next few games because of my fear of getting hurt, because I'm a fifth rounder. Yeah, that's what he need to pull that card, because he don't need to play no more. He is it. He is it. Dylan need to get out there. That'd be crazy if they put Dylan out there, or they don't put Dylan out there. They put Shedeur and Huntley out there. They win or lose. They gonna try to use that, but who cares? But then you got to put Dylan out there. Whatever they think gonna happen does not happen, but they keep trying it. Before camp, the Cleveland Browns legend Bernie Kosar recommended starting Flacco to start the season and then switching to Shedeur. Right. That's what everybody says. Start Flacco at the beginning, and by game 7, when the heavy part of the schedule is over with, which they might feel differently now, because he's a pro. Switch to Shedeur at 7. So, and Bernie Kosar was another person that was very complimentary of Shedeur. I thought I read where David Carr said he's QB1. I was breezing by it. But I thought I read he was on somebody's show talking about it. And I thought they said David Carr said Shedeur should be the starter. Or he's definitely a starter. Shedeur got them wrapped around his finger. Be petty. It said I'd start playing like a 5th round QB. They know what's up. Now, I ain't gonna make myself look bad. Gabriel has a grade 1 hamstring. He should be good to go this week. Okay. Practice going to be interesting. People going to start tuning into their practices more than ever now, trying to see what's going on. Star college football players, please stay in school. Right. Stay there until you can't. Get that master's like Shiloh did. Get that master's. That's why I said Lenore Sellers. If there really was an $8 million deal on the table, $4 million a year for, I think next year, the year after, for him to stay in school, he should have took the money, because this is a mess. This is a mess. And because you see what they're doing to these players, then let's talk about Cam, right? Cam Ward. The media puts out a post. Now, this is the media. Nobody's talking about Cam Ward. I'm like, aren't y'all the media? Don't you want to control and own the narrative 24/7? So you talk about him then. So people are saying, they talk about Shedeur like he was the first overall pick because he should have been. And they talk about Cam like he was an irrelevant 5th round pick. I'm not saying he's that. But once again, God is making the crooked places straight. Shedeur was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick, and they thought by pushing him down and out the way, yes, they would rob him and pick his pockets, but nobody would talk about him. That's really what they thought, which means they didn't think this through. They didn't. They didn't think it through at all. They thought it was going to go like it always goes. They have done this so many times. They have done this so many times. Lamar Jackson pushed down. This man won the Heisman. And they pushed him down, talking about he too short to be a quarterback, wanting to switch him to wide receiver, humiliating him on TV, which is why I'm glad Shedeur did not go to Green Bay. And that's going to be always something you remember because you visually saw it. You're going to know in your back of your mind what happened to Shedeur, but you didn't see him visually sitting on TV for hours and days. You didn't see that, but that's what they wanted. That's exactly what they wanted. They have done this so many times. That's why it's the same playbook. They're going to need to update their playbook. The Panthers do like Shedeur. Yep. They like Shedeur. I'm like, you know how you can see when a guy or girl, one person is crushing on the other, you like, I see something here. Oh, okay. Shedeur and Jimmy was going to end up together anyway. And that's another thing they took away from him. Influence, power, the lead of the team, all of it. But I'm like, if your strategy, if you didn't even get an O-line and you didn't get no receivers, you wasn't going to never get Shedeur. You lied. The more this comes, the more, things are talked about. I'm like, y'all pre-draft with him under false pretenses, which goes all the way back to the Vegas Super Bowl when they pigeonholed Charles Woodson. Hey, you still interested? Come over here and meet the Hasms. They just rushed him right through. So they knew after the Vegas Super Bowl, when they got Charles Woodson, pigeonholed him to Cleveland so they wouldn't appear what? So they knew, what's that, February? They knew by the time we got to Jacoby Brissett is the 15th black starting quarterback. After that, October, the season starts. Colorado's good. October, Shedeur's number 1 pick overall. Here come Cleveland. Hey, how you doing? We interested in you at 2. They wasn't going to never get him. They didn't even get O-line players that they desperately needed. They didn't even get receivers. That's why they only talk about Jerry Jeudy. Shedeur done made 2 new ones. They don't care about Jerry Jeudy wanting to throw the ball from the best quarterback. They don't care about that. Can't let people use you. Says Shedeur is not going to Carolina. We shall see. Bryce Young is coming along. Yep, Bryce Young looked good at the end of last year. At the end of last year, the last 3 games he played, I said, ooh, if they stay on this path, they're going to go far. Tampa Bay going to be good. Tampa Bay, that defense is going to be good. The offense, they got Emeka Egbuka. He looked pretty good for them. He with Ohio State. I remember watching him in the Natty. He was pretty good. Yep. Tampa Bay, Carolina Panthers, could be the Cleveland Browns. They expected to finish dead last. They are dead last. Their record is supposed to be 3-14. I was like, is this last year? Because I thought that's what it was last year. I was like, is that 2025? They're supposed to finish 3-14 again, which means they want to get their franchise QB next year. And they got Shedeur right there. Just let the racism hang out. CJ said, if it's a grade 1 hamstring, they might sit him for another plan. Yeah, I don't think they want him to play until, okay, here's what Stefanski said. When asked about Shedeur getting reps with the ones, we're going to have to see what the injuries look like. What the hell, Shedeur? Who's your best QB? And obviously your chance to be good. What that got to do with anything? In other words, I'm not moving him up. So if the other 2 are injured, then yeah, maybe he going to get some reps. Then he came back and said in a press conference, yeah, Shedeur going to get a lot of reps in Philadelphia. All our quarterbacks did good. He couldn't say Huntley, and he couldn't say Huntley played this, that, and the other, did good for a guy that just got here. He don't care about how they feel. So it sounds like they're going to push Shedeur out there against Philly, and he think they're going to lose. So I guess he's going to try that 4th and 1 again. Dallas will be okay. I see it happening. It said you have to think in terms of franchise QB, not just the whims. Nah, they don't look at Shedeur as a franchise QB. You can't even look at Shedeur as a franchise QB when you're talking about him being traded, because they don't look at him like that. They look at him as a fifth round, fourth string QB. They do not look at him as a franchise QB. They see it, they don't care. So you can't look at it like that. You have to look at it as a person who's making irrational decisions based on 9 factors is looking at it. I want to get my quarterback out of next year. And why is that? Okay, that's how you got to look at it. You can't be out here pretending the situation is not what it is. It is exactly that. They are irrational. I thought they would trade Shedeur until Friday night. Haslam didn't see just a massive fan base. He saw money. For that reason, I believe those haters will start him. Okay, it's possible. It's possible. Let's see if Stefanski changes his tune. Remember, Stefanski is a faithful servant. Remember that. These are not his decisions, but he's willing to be hard-headed and do what? Let somebody use him. So Terry Rule said the Dolphins. Now, he ain't going there unless you think he's going to start. Nope. Quinn Ewers went to the Dolphins at 13, and people were not happy in his camp because, hell, they called collusion first. And they were right for a different reason. I said, Tua basically cannot be concussed once, maybe twice, maybe. They came up with a deal. They had to agree. He can't just go on like that. I said, watch they put him behind Tua. What did I say? I heard today they let him start against Chicago. Jackson Dart started. They say he could start for the season. Told y'all, these people been doing this. Travis didn't seem that great without Shedeur. I just think the guys were triple teaming Travis. That's all. I just think he was triple team. Y'all let me know what you think. Oh, thank you, Anita. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, y'all, we're going to get ready to get out of here. Tuna said, I'm sure since Shedeur was penance for the Browns giving up guaranteed contract, I won't be surprised if they were given instructions on how to deal with Shedeur. Continue collusion. Right, that's what I'm saying. Shedeur was forced there, and Cleveland does favors. And if you mean by penance that they did a favor by taking on Deshaun Watson and just paying him what the NFL want to reimburse him, then yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. None of the black QBs stay in the league long, it seems. Cam Ward reminds me of Steve McNair. That's what they're hoping for. That's why he competed. I understand. I'm from Alabama. So you get it. You get it. Shedeur will last 3.5 seconds on waivers. Yeah, okay. Okay. You know, all right. Okay. If he would last 3.5 seconds on waivers, he would have never failed past the first round. This is not a typical situation. There's a moratorium on Shedeur. He wasn't on the board, so no other team could get him. They're not putting him on waivers unless they want him to clear waivers. And if he clears waivers, he gets a new contract. That's the only, but understand, if he clears waivers, I think the CFL has some kind of first rights. Maybe that's in particular to the teams in the CFL. But here's the thing. Everybody knew who Shedeur was. The NFL knew it too. They didn't care. They went with preference. They were not confused about who Shedeur is. Shedeur could have got drafted if he was on the board. They took him off the board so nobody else would get him. What that means is all 32 owners colluded against Shedeur Sanders. Now, the GMs on some of the teams that didn't need quarterbacks, maybe they knew, maybe they didn't. But when the owners meeting takes place, like it took place in Minnesota, the GMs are there, the head coaches are there, the executives, the defensive coordinators, the offensive coordinators, and the owners, they're all there together. This is where they talk about stuff. They know who Shedeur was. So you have to believe if the GM is a friend of a GM in Miami that they knew what was going down. Remember, everybody got the email that Shedeur Sanders' phone number, this is draft phone number with the waiver wire attached. Everybody that worked for the NFL, all 32 teams, including the equipment manager. They could have put him on waivers and not let him play in the preseason game. But then how people gonna see what he gonna do? Organizational malpractice. When he was throwing to the equipment manager, that was telling him, you ain't gonna be here. Remember, we sent you an email and the equipment managers got it? That was not a coincidence. That's why when that was put out, they worked really vigilantly to reel that back in. That wasn't supposed to get out. He wasn't on the board. How Cleveland drafted? Because they didn't. He got forced there. Everything that you saw was just procedure process to make you think it's on the up and up. It is not. People going to be surprised to learn that this plan was hatched around the time of the Vegas Super Bowl because the trend toward black quarterbacks becoming the majority of QB1s had been on trend since 2020. Up and up and up. 21, 22, 23, 24. Jacoby Brissett, 15. At the start of the season, September. Shedeur Sanders, first overall. October. They knew. He was pigeonholed. He was sent there so he don't go nowhere else and ball out. Draft and destroy, draft and hold, draft and trade. And what they wanted to do was devalue, well, they already devalued him, but their goal is to trade him for nothing, to send him to the next team with a label around his neck that says developmental QB. They want the lie to continue. They have a vested interest in the lie continuing. The Saints, the Giants, and every other team that passed up Shedeur that took a quarterback, 13 quarterbacks were drafted. All of them have a vested interest in keeping the collusion going. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Shedeur would last 3.5 seconds on waivers. In a normal situation, yep. In a normal situation, he'd be the starting quarterback for whatever team he was on. Tuna say, yep, I'm from NOLA. That's how it goes. Same thing, Tuna. Shedeur not starting over Flacco. And he shouldn't. I mean, I don't know why not. Stefanski. It said, did anyone else hear Nick say that the media is not the athlete's friend? Stop trying to impress them. Nick who? Let me know who you're talking about, Blue Moon. It says, stop trying to impress them. The least you say, the better off you are. You owe them nothing. Do your job and go home. Hey, if they talking about Shedeur, talking to Tony Grossi, if that's what they talking about, Shedeur did the right thing. Shedeur did the right thing, and they need to start sending out some cease and desist to the media. They'll have to wait, I think, until Shedeur will actually have a win, a regular season. Nope. To game to change contracts. Nope. They can put Shedeur on waivers. When the season starts, they can put him on waivers after the Cincinnati game. They can put him on waivers tomorrow. I think they cut Huntley August 29th. So that's before the first game check, etc. All he got to do is be put on waivers. If he put on waivers, I think they got 24 hours to get him. If he clears the 24 hours, he's free. If another team wants him, he gets a new contract. That's the only reason I support waivers. But I think if they put him on waivers, they're not giving him a new contract. Unless they're trying to fix this situation. And you'll notice the change in tone in the media. You'll notice the change in tone to another team. You'll start hearing people say this, that, and the other, and it tends to turn out to be pretty much the case. And if it's not, they have to retract it. So no, he can be put on waivers, sit there 24 hours, just like the prank said, and he gets a new contract. Coach Prime didn't have a lot of players. Actually, he does. I noticed he does. What do y'all think about that? What I think Coach Prime has 3 black quarterbacks. Yeah. So a lot of people are gonna want to say, okay, we trying to move away from that. You can't do that because we know CU players are good. So you got 3 right here. It is very personal. It is very personal. It is very personal. If it wasn't personal, they wouldn't do it. My apology, former. Oh, Nick Saban. Okay, that's who you're talking about. Yeah, the billionaire that owns Nike is with Oregon. Yep, because I think they had a hand in their when they had those NIL collectives, they had a hand in that. Vets take care of rookies. That's what I'm hoping for. Flacco let 12 fly. Yep. Dylan has been pushed too hard by Stefanski and stressed him out. Right. I agree with that, B. Thomas. I agree with that. I love that Flacco start and Shador finished the season by week 8. By week what? And develop the talent you saw. You know what I think? I think this is how I see it because I've seen them do it before, so I know they could do it. I think Flacco play in Cincinnati. And I think, just like I think it's going to happen with Colorado, Flacco is a starter for the game, but Shador plays, right? Shador don't need to be sitting on ice till week 7. Flacco, again, is 2 years older than he was before. He played 4 games before and got injured. Yeah. So it makes sense because I felt like they let DTR play with Flacco in the same game because, it kind of takes the pressure off. So let's say Cincinnati goes well, score is up. You let Shador get in there so he could get comfortable because you're going to play Cincinnati twice, right? Same thing with Baltimore. You let Flacco start, Shador come in. But it depends on Cleveland's goal. If the goal is to embarrass Shador, they're going to put him out there against Lamar Jackson. Just like they did DTR. You don't put your 5th round pick, a true 5th round pick, developmental QB hurt coming out of college, that you never even intended to be the backup, play against Lamar Jackson, other than to set him up to fail. It took him 2 years to get out of there. And I'm sure Shador will see him whenever the game is in Philly. Is it Friday or Saturday? Let me know if it's Friday or Saturday. I don't know what day it is. I know practice is going to be interesting and people going to be waiting to see what happens. Flacco holding it up. I just wish he gives 12 the keys and hold and ride out. Right. I remember reading an article when Flacco played for Baltimore. It said he was holding up he was the problem. It was like Flacco was holding up Baltimore's progress. How long ago was that? Okay. It says, CU's Jordan Seaton public statement. Why would he want to play for a coach that looks like him? Why what? Not only powerful, but provocative, right? Jordan Seaton is another person that is not afraid to be himself. A lot of the younger generation, they different now. These kids got money. They being paid to play football. So they're not going to be so quick to shed. They're not starving. They're not couch surfing. Back in the day, these guys don't get paid till September. So this whole process has been free. They might have slid Travis's money quietly, but they don't get paid until the first game check. And I kind of get the feeling that Travis didn't know that. DW and DG. Deshaun Watson and Dylan Gabriel. Okay. It say, look at Flacco. It said the guy in the white is the coordinator, Tommy Reese. Okay, he from Alabama. I don't know how he really, that was Jalen Milroe coordinator, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Poor Gabriel. Dylan, yep. Deshaun Watson knows it. It looked like, at halftime, he could pull out his phone, tell his wife, hey, you know what? We just going to wait on the house. We're going to get it in our next stop. Mm-hmm. Yep. DG may have been on a golf course with Kevin Stefanski, but Shador has connections that are open beyond. No. What I'm saying is they brought Dylan into the fold early. They brought him out to the golf course. He was out there with the linemen and some other people gaslighting him, right? Like, no matter what, you're our guy, because that's how they feel. And that's what Stefanski's doing. And he said some things. And that's why Dylan looks sad, because it ain't going to happen. Dylan ain't stupid. I don't give a damn what Stefanski told him. At some point, he know, this ain't going to last long. It's not going to last long. He out here looking not like, in other words, y'all lied about Shador. And y'all brought me here, and he looks sad because he might realize. He might be getting to realize, y'all want me to be better than this dude, really? That means y'all used me because you knew who he was. And that need to open up his brain to go, they did this in college. So that meant they played him twice. That's why he looks sad. He looks sad. He looks sad. He does. He looks sad. He looks scared. He looks what? Defeated. Yeah, because everything that they told him, everything they put in the media. Dillon Gabriel is Stefanski's guy. That Stefanski gonna start. They said all of that like it didn't matter what the hell Shedeur did, that's because that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. 71,000 people showed up at that game and said, not so fast. The fans matter. Dillon is not stupid. He knows. And he know he ain't better than Shedeur. Even if he was better than Shedeur, then maybe his facial expression was, he not better than Shedeur. So how are you going to take him who's better than me? And I know you knew that. How you going to put him in front of me? I think Dillon might be the one to get traded. I'm just saying because, you getting ready to put, if we really serious about this whole Flacco thing, and I don't care if Flacco start, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just want Shedeur in the game. I don't want him iced out for 7 weeks. If the game is up, then Shedeur can get in there. So he warmed up and he ready to go. So if that's the reality that we're headed to, right? That means all of that gaslighting, taking him to the golf course. You our 3rd round pick. What Mary Cabot say, Dillon got to get first team reps because Shedeur is a 5th round. All of that don't even matter no more. Maybe he heard what Kirk Cousins said. Y'all lied to me. Y'all misled me to believe that I was going to be your guy. Then you draft him. And now it makes me look bad because he's a 5th round QB that's better than me. He ain't a 5th round QB. You can't even say that no more. He's sad because they lied to him. He's sad because all of the promises and the things and all of the protection that Stefanski, all of that is going to go right out the window. And then he played ball for 6 years in college. He saw some quarterbacks get played. In fact, I think it was a quarterback at Oregon before he left Oklahoma. It was a quarterback at Oregon, a black QB. When Bo Nix left, I don't know this guy's name. I have to go look it up. I remember reading the story that he was upset because he thought he was next up. He said he was patient. He waited. He paid his dues. They went and paid Dillon Gabriel to come and put Dillon in front of that guy. I don't know what happened to that guy. I don't know if he stayed at Oregon. I don't know if he left. But see, here's the thing. They probably going, if they keep Shedeur, if they forced to keep him because they was forced to take him, they going to put Shedeur in front of Dillon. So see, now what happened to the other guy is happening to him. That's why he's sad. He know what's up. He know how it's going to go. Flacco hitting like I can get paid to mentor the rest of the season. Flacco looking at that 13 mil. He see dollar signs like Jerry Jones when he see Shedeur. The pressure might be too much for Dillon Gabriel. I know he see all of them 12 jerseys. And they sitting in the stadium with 71,000 people with 12s everywhere. And they ain't not even in Cleveland. Let that sink in. People came from all over. They not all from Charlotte. They not all from Charlotte. He looks disenchanted. That's the word. I like that. Okay. Poor Dillon. For real. He's stuck. I don't think he's stuck. I think his people going to find him a trade. That's who I think going to get up out of there voluntarily. I don't think he's going to be forced out of there. I think his agent probably trying to find him somewhere else to go because it's going to be a bad look. It's going to be a bad look. Pickett too. But I don't know where he could go. They in the same boat, to be honest. As Dillon Gabriel should, the Browns have him in a bad position. His skill level doesn't align with his draft pick, right? They just used him as a wedge. Dillon Gabriel probably running circles in his living room to strain his hamstring for real. Yeah, he looks dejected, right? I mean, what else you gonna look? He looks sad. He looked like it ain't gonna happen. Whatever it was that they told him, it is not happening, and he can see it, and he knows. And maybe he just realizing that he been played as a wedge between the block Shador the whole time. I can admit I have nothing against Dillon Gabriel. Yeah, I don't either. And you know what? I wish him the best, but they played him. They played him from the get-go. They played him. He's a third string, y'all. He wasn't even going to be second string. They thought they was going to get him, put him on the bench in case something happened to the other two. But see, Kevin Stefanski created this toxic environment. Sure did. This is on him. Bernie Kosar said the draft, this draft, he only cared about Cam Ward and Shador. I mean, yeah. Bernie Kosar, I was like, they ain't going to invite you back next week. I said the same thing. I'm like, when you too complimentary of Shador, they going to get rid of you. But yeah, he one of their legends. It's funny how they like him. And he had all great things to say about Shador. Dillon looks as if he finally realized that they lied to him. He has to admit Shador is a real deal, right? And all the way back to college. Let that sink in. Being used that way, right? Being used that way. I saw the odds. Browns at 4.5 wins. That must be, I don't know who the quarterback was, but it wasn't Shador. That's how you know they don't even have a plan. Shador is never mentioned. Right. They don't want to speak positively of him. Right. I totally agree. As you mentioned, black athletes will need a destination after college. Yeah. And that goes back. That's a good stopping point. That goes back to what I said. Coach Prime, that's what I think needs to happen. I don't see this situation getting any better. I'm looking at the big picture, right? Why would it change? They were all in on it in the draft. If they all in on it in the draft, why would it change? It would have to change sincerely. And what I mean by that is, you know what? We messed up. Let him go on waivers, but you know he going somewhere, they pick him up, he gets his right contract, and they let him go ball out on a team, a viable team, not a hot mess, right? In other words, not just forcing him somewhere, sticking him somewhere, not mistreating him, not creating a toxic environment. I mean, when I say I don't see this changing, I mean, honestly, with him looking to be the best, they still don't care. That's Marlon Briscoe. They have done this already. They knew Marlon Briscoe was good. He bowed out for Denver. Denver told him point blank, we don't want you to be our quarterback. That's how they feel about Shador. That's how they feel about Cam. That's why he competed. That's why they feel about Milroe. That's why they don't talk about him. Milroe balled the hell out. Have you heard much about that? I heard about Jackson Dart. I heard it's about Tyler Shaw. I heard about some dude in Pittsburgh. I heard about Cam because they don't talk about him enough. This is about black quarterbacks. We still at 17-32. At some point, I'm going to sit down and finish this chart when I figure out where people going to be maybe week one. Again, I said they were playing in Russell Wilson face, and they showed trying to get Jackson Dart ready. I'm like, go ahead on and put him out there because you're going to set Jackson Dart up to fail just like Dillon Gabriel already failed. See, they can't even learn from each other. They can't even learn from each other. Okay, you know what? We don't want to end up like them, so let's not do it. Let's just go and put Russ out there. And they counting the games before Russ get to the majority of the games. Well, we could put Dart out there. Wouldn't surprise me if they pull Russ out the game and let Dart get in there and play. Just like I said they should do for Shador. To give him every opportunity to get it together, to look good. Okay, well, maybe you don't be the starter, but we let you play all the games for like 2 minutes. Then the fans will love you. And Russ is on a 1-year contract, and we could cut him loose. They thinking long term. Till Arch Manning come out of school, then I don't know what the hell he gonna do. Because you're not gonna convince me and nobody else that they don't have first dibs on the family name. That's how Dart got there. So, all right, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. This was excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank y'all so much for the engagement. C22. Never underestimate the pettiness. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And if you from the South, you know what time it is. You know how these people move. They don't play when it comes to preference, when it comes to skin color. They don't play. And they'll do it to kids. They do not care. The very first time I ever saw anything racist. I'm going to tell y'all this story. We're going to get out of here. Y'all know I'm from New Orleans, right? My friend and I went to private school. we went to sell candy. We went door to door. You know, the little fundraiser, the whatever. So we went to this lady house. Okay. And it's me and my friend, and she's brown skin, beautiful. And we knock on this lady door. She older lady, she come to the door in her house coat. And in New Orleans, when you young like that, you don't necessarily know if a person what they are. You can't tell all the time because you can't always tell, right? You got green eyes, you got really, really, really fair, pale skin, but the features. But see, when you in elementary school, because I wasn't even in, maybe I was in the 7th or 8th grade, somewhere between 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. You can't always tell, especially in New Orleans back then. You just can't tell if the older person you looking at is white or black. Some people don't even know their grandparents was black, right? Because people was passing or whatever. Not doing what I'm talking about, but it has happened. So we both standing there in our uniform, the blue and white plaid skirt with the white blouse and the black and white saddle Oxfords in our hair, little pigtails with blue ribbons. I remember this distinctly. And knocked on the door. She comes to the door and she got the screen. She had the screen closed. She opened the screen. We told her we were selling candy or whatever. She went to get the money, came back. And she had it fold up. She had it fold up. And she looked at my friend. And she looked at me. And she looked at my friend. And she looked at me. And she handed me the money. They don't give a damn if you're a kid, if you good, if they know you, if you a stranger. That strained my friendship because my friend felt I was preferred. And we were friends for a long time. And on my 12th birthday, I had like a slumber party. It's just a few girls. And you know how people used to give birthday licks, right? She never got over it. Those birthday licks turned into full-on assault. My mom had to pull her off of me. She never got over it. She never got over it. And it just strained the friendship. So when I'm telling you, they don't give a damn what you could do for them. If they can't use you, they don't want you around. So I'm gonna get out of here. So, if somebody from the South tell you, don't underestimate their pettiness. If somebody from the South tell you, I don't give a damn how much money he could bring in, they can't use him. They can't set him up and embarrass him like that. They can't use him to do their bidding. They can't set him up like they did DeShone Kizer or PJ Walker or DTR or even Deshaun Watson. For one, Coach Prime ain't gonna allow it. Two, we all gonna talk about it. They have no use for him. So y'all have a good night. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I'll be back tomorrow. This was an excellent, excellent, excellent conversation. I think it was informative. I think for people who are not from the South, trust the people from the South when we tell you, it don't matter. It's going to have to be forced, and they're not going to stop until they get their way or somebody just pluck him out of there. That's it. All right, y'all. That's it. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports.
Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.